we need to open this whole thing up with our double leg takedowns. I mean, we're going to work this entire grappling program. We need to get down on the mat, but one of the ways to do this, you got to get the man off his feet first. And the primary takedowns you're going to be using, there's several varieties. You got your double leg takedowns, your single leg takedowns, all varieties of fireman's carries. You could take double legs and single legs and run these things into variations of 80 to 90. But what I'm going to do is give you some of the top the high percentage ones that you can use right up front. Now with the double leg, the first one we're going to hit is just the double leg tackle. Now, some of the main rules you got to keep in mind, we're going to gloss over some of these to get you right some of the material right here, is you got to be, to take a man down, you've got to be able to touch him first. So in other words, if my hand is out, either if we're just doing a submission only match, I got to make sure that I can touch my man. Corey and I are moving around, playing this kind of work, making sure that we've got our hands on one another. If it's closer to NHB, street work, we'll use the jab as a probe. If the jab does not find its mark, we don't take a shot on him at that time. So we're going to go ahead and assume that we are in close enough to hit. One of the other ideas we're going to keep in mind with all these takedowns is we've got to be able to break the plane of glass between your opponent's heels. So we'll have to pretend that Corey right here between the backs of his heels has a plane of glass, and every time I take a penetration step, either one of my feet or my knee will step through and break this plane of glass. So a penetration step would be either me stepping here or banging a knee under the mat where we get the penetration. Now the first one we're going to hit is just a standard double leg tackle. Now in a double leg tackle, it's not like a football where you just keep driving straight through and staying on your feet. We're actually going to bang both of our knees onto the mat. Whenever I bang the knees down, my inside knee, which is my right knee in this case, will drop down to break the plane of glass. Both my hands will hit him where he bends, right behind the knees. Shoulder hits him in the hip, also where he bends. I don't want my hands on the calves. I don't want them on the hamstrings. I don't want my shoulders in the middle of his thigh. Always where he bends. That way he can give me less resistance when he starts trying to counter this thing out with some sprawls or some underhooking. And once we get to this point with it, we break the plane of glass. We hit him where he bends. The last thing I'll use to take him down, let alone my momentum moving through him, is I head hook him. If my head is on the right side of his body, once I have everything hooked up, I'm using my head to force off towards my right. So I'm using my head to push into it. If my head was on the left side, force off to my left. So what we've got going on with this, we make sure we can hit the guy, touch him. We're going to bang both knees. Hit them both down, hit him where he bends. We would drive through and hook him with the head. Now you're going to find when you're working this move, if you stall any motion, this isn't going to work. So for example, it would be the same thing if I threw a jab and just held it out there. That's not nearly as effective as snapping this thing out. So I got to bang both knees on the mat, hit him where he bends, then hit the head hook. We'll go ahead and do one of those. Ready for real time, sir? So right here, making sure we get soft. We'll move this back a little bit. Touch, touch, touch. Right here, we're going to do one a little bit slower. We're going to come in, and with Corey's attractive angle of the camera, you always wanted that, and that way I can use my head to hook him off to the side. You see, if I'm not hooking him, he will fall straight back whenever I drive into him. Well, now what will happen here, let's stay in your butt for a moment and suit you up here. Whenever I've dropped him, if I haven't used my head hook, but he's straight on his back, now we've moved ourselves into a leg war. Sorry, let's give you a little bit of profile. I've just dropped him here. He starts going to work underhooking with his feet or his arms, and start playing this guy's guard game at this time. So we'll go ahead and just start playing that. Move in. Now we're in his higher grappling match, which is fine, where I could have come out into probably an optimum position. I've taken myself down to the mat, and I'm still in a struggle or scramble fight instead of top position. I'll show what I mean. Again, with the profile, I'm going to shoot this leg tackle, bang both knees to the mat, bring him down to the mat, but I'm not going to use the head hook. He will go straight back and go directly into using your feet and underhooks, okay? So we're here, I can touch, straight back. I'm still somewhat in top position, but you can see he's still in this game. If I bang both knees and head hook, that takes his feet away from him. He can no longer use it. Let's play the same kind of scramble, so I'll probably try and shoot. He's shooting for the scramble, and I'll just try and blanket him to cover him up so he can't use his legs against me. So, touch, hit. Much better position for me. Now, one more time on those details. We hit, we got to break the plane of glass between the heels, hit him where he bends, then hook him with the head. What we can also do from here, that's just your standard tackle, we've got a double leg dive. Again, we got to make sure we can touch this guy. We will hit him where he bends. And a dive is where we're hitting everything the same, except we don't drop to the knees. The hands are in, the shoulders in, breaking the plane of glass. The difference is we want to hit him hard enough where we start a little bit of a bend of his torso over our shoulder. Once we hit this, we'll be doing the same thing with the head hook. Let's do a attractive angle. Here, in, a little bit of a bend. If he's standing straight up, this won't work. Also, if he's standing straight up, it means you did not bang into him. It means you just bent down and passively grabbed a hold of him. So we're here. I'm not taking you down. We're just here, and a little bit of a bang. Profile. So we're here, a little bit of a bang. You see, penetrate the glass, hit him where he bends, and here. Now, once I've hit where he bends, that's where there would actually be a pickup and turn him. Now, when you're picking a guy up, you got to keep in mind, you've always got to have, you're going to pick up something that's right at your toe level. Meaning, for example, if I throw something down on the mat in front of me and I want to pick it up, this is less efficient for me because he can start snapping me down at this point. If I bend straight down at the toe, it's a lot, he has less ability to snap me down. Small example, if I'm just bending over here, I'm going to reach 6 inches in front of my body, snap on the head cord. I had to use base. Just bending down to touch the toe, snap down. Same, okay, now snap down again. It's a small difference in where you're putting your hands can change how much you can be snapped down. So when you're doing this leg dive, this is not a leg dive. It's no penetration. I would be reaching 6 inches in front of my foot. So if you had to penetrate, so I would be doing a leg dive and reaching for the toes if I were going to reach past this. So we're here, bang him a bit, and you would have your pickup. I'm not going to leave him in the air and walk around the ring with him. You would do your pickup, and again, use your head hook. We're not going to slam him hard on this kind of thing. So we're here, move around, touch, pick up. Let's do one with the back of the camera. Here, bang, penetrate, hit him where he bends, and to finish, head hook, and spin the legs out. You have to medium on that. Right here, good man, thank you. So here, let's move this up a little bit. Here. This all happens, not because you've got strength in your body. It helps with the conditioning. But I'm here, bend over my body a little bit. You will notice my foot's not penetrated past here. Here's me trying to do the same pickup. I can make it happen if I really push through, but I'm feeling it in the lumbar spine. Once I penetrate, and think about the toe moving past where I could reach for the toe, changes the whole game. Now, you got this leg tackle, leg dive. We can also take a look if we bang down to the mat with a single knee. Where in the leg tackle, we bang both. We're going to use a leg hook. We're going to bang the single knee and leave our trail foot out momentarily. All the upper body work stays the same. Hit him where he bends. Rear foot will come around and step behind his heel. So it's a heel-to-heel sweep. So we're here. This would be the motion. So we're going to bang the knee and step through. Now once I step through, I would continue on driving through. I don't have to turk his leg yet. Turking just means using my leg to arch a limb up to the sky. Just blocking this thing out. So in slow-mo, we're here. I can touch him. I bang the knee, penetrate the plane, hit him where he bends, and hook. Let's do that one more time, right about here. That half. Shoot. And down. Here, okay, same thing. And down. I'm releasing this point for safety because we're not trying to cover them all the way up yet. Once with the rear side of the camera, we're right here. Got a bang. Here, hook, and I would continue to drive through. Right where he bends. Do one in real time. We're here. Hit him where he bends. And I would continue to cover on the way to the mat. Now, I told you there's many ways to hit a double leg. What I'm giving you are the highest percentage ones that you can start your root grappling skills and really bring these up to speed. We're talking about these. I'm giving you 4. These 4 are about 95%ers. You're going to be able to use them with even really highly skilled opponents. Now we need something to come off of this. We have the double leg tackle, we've got the leg dive, and I've given you this with the back trip, the double leg tackle with the back trip. We need to give you something in case we hit a stumble in this back trip, or else you're going to be caught in your caught down the mat on one knee. So for example, let's freeze right here. I've hit this, and I've got this leg through, and he posts his foot a little bit back, and I'm trying to drive, and I've got nothing left. I can't get him down. So what I'm going to do is I will take this hand, since I've got my foot already blocking the heel, I don't need it on the knee anymore. So my left foot is doing the back heel trip, the left hand is going to move to a seat belt. A seat belt is nothing more than grasping the waist. A seat belt, we need to pay attention to these definitions because it's going to be all over the place. This material, seat belt can be this, or it can be this. It's a single arm around the body. If it's two arms, it's a body lock. Let's go ahead and keep this vocabulary in mind. So we're here, move off from him where he bends to the seat belt position. Now what I will do with the far hand, this will come off the knee as well. Whenever it comes off the knee, let's take a tractive side in. I'm going to lean my head out, down to a seat belt. This will come out and underhook on the thigh. So at this point, I've got my left heel blocking out his leg. I've got the seat belt to prevent him from backstepping away from me. From here, I'm just blocking this out. I don't need to pick him up. I block as I drive into him. So I banged. I set this position up. I'm here. I'm here. This will finish up if he's trying to stall out your back heel. We'll give that profile. So I'm not shooting for this one initially. I want my back heel. Touch, bang, I'm blocked, hook, hook, and then keep driving. It's important that when you realize with this hand position, I'm not trying to lift. I've got maybe 10, varies sometimes 15 pounds in core. He's going to stand up, sir. If I just try and pick him up with this position, this is awkward. This is like trying to lift, put weight in this hand and lift out in this direction. Really tough to do unless you're some kind of power lifter. All I'm trying to do is hit here, make sure he can't step this leg back. And I'm also using this seat belt. It's also always trying to step back. I'm pulling down on this hip. Let's move this direction a tiny bit. Right here, 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 and there's the takedown. One more time. We'll do it in flow, medium speed, double leg tackle to back heel trip. He stalls me up, switch the hands off, pull, block, and finish it off. So we're here, penetrate, up again, same thing, block in. Now, when you're reaching, go ahead and address something that will happen in your matches. Have you stand back up. You're going to see motion sometimes when you're reaching for things. You're going to go, are you missing and hooking legs? Hell yeah, this happens sometimes. You'll be in the middle of a fight. You're still just trying to train your system where you're finding where your underhook is. If I shoot and I go, oh, I missed the leg, I just come to something like this, I'm not going to be able to finish. You've got to keep chopping and finding these underhooks that you're looking for. So, this would happen with anything. If I'm doing a double leg tackle and I realize my knee didn't break the plane of glass, what I need to do at this point is just keep sliding my knees up. Everything in grappling, just like in boxing, will call for some sort of adjustment where you just can't go, oh, that one didn't work, got to move on. You're constantly throwing your probes and constantly winging out techniques. Now with that said, you've got 4 high percentage ones. We're going to give you even more ways to counter these out and to make sure that whenever you're being shot with a high percentage takedown, you can stall this thing. We're going to take a look now how to start countering out these double leg takedowns. These things, like I said, are a high percentage. Corey, if you're going to shoot in, for the most part, it's going to be a double leg, right? Right. A double leg is just like a jab in boxing, or a jab should be in NHB. The first and the king of the counters to the double leg is your standard sprawl. We're going to cover this in brief detail and make sure when you're doing a sprawl, your hips are what's driving the opponent. You never want your chest down on your opponent, and whenever you are sprawling out, you're going to take your insteps to the mat. If you've got your toes dug into the mat, you're creating drag, and they can continue to drive into you, and they can stand you back up. So let's go ahead and let's just go down to position as if you shot. When I'm talking about with the sprawl, I would have hips through here. This on the hips right now, ignore the feet right now, the hips are proper positioning. This is wrong. You'll see a lot of people do this, think this is a sprawl, and they immediately start wanting to body lock. This is not a sprawl yet. He feels, which one you feel more weight on? Let's get your head out here. There's the weight here, we're here, there. There's the weight. Also you got to think about, my weight is just laying on top. I've not stopped him from penetrating through here if he's got good conditioning. I've actually got to use my hips as a stop for him coming in. Now we talked about the feet. I'm getting off the balls of my feet right now. I want to be insteps down. So if he is driving into me, I actually drive back and across the mat. If I've got the balls of my feet on the mat, go ahead and give me a little bit of drive. Look at that. He stood me right back up. He can finish off his double leg. If the insteps are down, drive. Notice the slide here. And he's having to do a lot more work and less interested about completing this particular shot. So, the sprawl, hips in, chest up, insteps down. Now, just to make this fair one time, I'll shoot and you can put the sprawl in. Pay close attention because I don't want to get hit more than a couple of times. We move on to the next one. Does that sound good? That's good. Tit for tat. Okay, so we're here. I make sure I can touch him. I'll shoot the double leg. We'll sprawl. We're here. Look at that. He's got good position. I'll do it one more time. I'll keep driving. We'll move down some so we can see that your insteps are down. So it's here. Excellent. There you go. Hopefully you don't want too many more of those. See, Corey's got the hard job. He's always taking the fall. See, you owe me some gratitude, right?
You don't want to talk all the time now.
Okay. Now, that's going to be one of the kings of your defense against a double leg. Now, what will happen whenever you're executing a sprawl, though, this is, as you already saw, we're on the mat. We're moving directly into mat work. Nothing wrong with that. You're in top position. I'm going to show you many ways to start, hooking this guy from right here. But there are ways to stop these things up and remain on your feet, because a lot of people, when they think grappling, they think, well, you got your takedown and you grapple around on the mat. Well, there's standing grappling as well. So I'm going to run you through a pretty good series of things that are both stopping a double leg on the mat and stopping a double leg from your feet. The next one I want to show you right now is the underhook and the inside thigh block. So, whenever he shoots in, an underhook, again, to get our definitions down, an underhook is any time I take an arm or a leg and place it under the limb that I'm trying to instruct you to get a hold of. For example, if I underhook his arm, that's an underhook. This is an overhook. Pretty simple vocabulary, and we're going to make sure we're on the same page. We run through this long, exhaustive, painfully exhaustive series. So, what's going to happen if he shoots in? I'm going to underhook his head. So whenever he shoots, there's a head underhook. Right, let's drop that arm out for my head underhook. This arm will overhook his arm on this side. So he'll shoot. Let's do the overhook right here. And once I've done the overhook, I'm going to run a thigh block, which is I'm using the back of my hand against his thigh. So I've got palm facing away, back of my hand on his thigh. So the whole thing together is going to be underhook on the head, overhook on the arm. We got a thigh block. The reason we're putting the thigh block in, if I just do an underhook and an overhook on his body, but I'm not stopping his hips from coming through on me, we'll show you what happens. I'm going to just do that only without the thigh block. You can pick up or drop as you see fit. Ready, sir? Okay? You see what happened there? I had my under and over in. And you see this a lot in NHB competition, because lots of times in jiu-jitsu, guys are just reaching, this is all I need. This is the powerful portion of the man's body. I got to stop the hips from coming in. So every shoots, we're here, overhooking, and this is going in strong. I got my hips like, but I'm blocking this out. So let's take a look at the same amount of pressure. I just got this position in, and I want to give me about 60% on your drive. Okay, he's got me. 60% on your drive. Same thing. It looks like a less cohesive or less tight position, because the other one you go, well, I'm gripping him tight. Well, it's going to be a hell of a lot tighter than the guy. Stop his leg. So again, he shoots, over, hook right here, back of the hand to the back of the thigh. There's your thigh pride, here's your thigh block, and right here on the head. So a couple times slow. Let's look at this side. One more on this side. There you go. And just on this side. Take a look. There's the motion right here. One more time. Excellent. Now, I'm going to move on and show you another one. Go ahead and come clean with something here. If you occasionally see me doing this, looking off to the left thing, it's a lot of material. We know all this stuff. We make sure we got it in right order for you guys. I'm looking at a board to sometimes make sure we're on the same page. Just going to make sure you think I'm not interested in you right now. We're going to hit a cross face, a rear crotch. Now, a cross face, oh, you're going to love this, aren't you? Let's talk, go ahead and drop your hands and knees for a moment. Again, vocabulary lesson. A cross face, we'll see people just thinking, well, that's what you reach your forearm across right and grab right here. Okay, this did not include his face. This is not a cross face. This isn't putting him in any kind of jeopardy, not making him mad. This is a little bit better variation, but the entry angle is actually, give me a little bit of an angle right here. It's going to be the inner blade of the forearm, being at 45 and down, so it's driving across underneath the nose and then down across the chin to grab the far shoulder. So this can work, but if he's got a really strong neck and you're in a struggle, he's getting a little bit of resistance, this angle starts cutting everything out. That's a cross face. It's a true cross face. Now, when we're doing this, I will reach for lazy cross faces for the sake of the drill. So if you see, whenever he shoots, you see me just doing this, because I'm being kind to my partner, and he'll end up doing a cross face back to me at some point, and he'll say, remember when we shot that video, and I'll spit some blood out and cry a little bit. So I'm going to give him the nice version. But again, real version, please stay up for a moment. It's going to be not here, but down and across. Now, whenever he shoots, this time, I've got to maneuver myself off to one side or the other. In this case, turn a little bit this direction. He shoots. We already saw what we're doing with the cross face. I maneuver a little bit to his inside, which is his chest, off to my right. I'm going to hit a cross face with my left arm, where my right hand reaches for a rear crotch. Now, rear crotch, inside crotch, it sounds like I'm reaching between his legs. As horrible as it may sound, yeah, I am. Actually, this is a great, forgive how this sounds, a handle to actually hit on a human being. Everybody's cupped up. Everything's fine. We're actually going to get where the hips are the main, where the main body mass is, the center of mass right here. This is actually a great place to be able to pick and lift people. So whenever he does hit, and he hit a cross face with the left, I'm reaching over and across his near side thigh, which in this case will be his left leg, and I'm actually reaching the hand. It's actually coming around the inside of the thigh, but sometimes if it's necessary to come up into where the cup region is, it's just going to have to be, sorry about that. You're going to hit the cross face, hit through, and a little bit of a lift to turn him off on the side. We'll do this fairly slow, a couple of different angles. Every shoots, we've got the cross face to here, I'm going to let that loose a little bit, and reaching through here. And then it would be a chest through to bump. I can do this from standing position, this semi-crouch, or we can do it from the knees. Let's do the setup again. He shoots, see the footwork to angle this off. Cross face. If I let his head stay in place, he's still able to drive through me. If taking his face away removes a lot of his strength, hit the rear cross position and drive through. Let's do one about 50. I'm going to bump you down. All right, thank you, sir. Cross face and rear cross. You good? Yep. Any little hamburger inside? Okay. Okay. Now there's your cross face and the rear crotch. Let's move on to another one. We've got a front quarter Nelson. Now we're going to be covering Nelsons in great depth further on this program, but right now I need to address them where they also pop up. We can use them as some defense against this double leg. Whenever he shoots, we can take someone's mass away, drive away from them by posting on their head. All the more if we're able to post and drag down. So a couple of times slow. Whenever he shoots, you can drill alone just putting your hand on the head, doing a little bit of a drive back. Well, it takes a no-brainer to see sometimes there's a knee in here, but also it's a no-brainer for a good wrestler. Whenever I'm throwing him down, he can snag that leg. Do about 60, and you can snatch the leg if you want to keep driving. Bad news for me. So I'd rather keep my base and just direct the head. So when he shoots, direct the head. Now here's where the quarter Nelson comes into play. Using my right hand to stop the head, left arm underhooks right here. We're all on the same page of this. I just lied to you right here. I'm going to have my left arm overhook for you. So here, left overhook is going to weave all the way through. I'm going to turn this a bit. Stop. Here would be the overhook. And I take this hand, brace on top of this hand. And then we would start taking his chin towards his chest and then cock him over his shoulder. Now, this hand position, right now I'm showing you a lazy position right now so we can learn this hand position. Or putting my overhook in. So he shoots, place my hand in position, shoot, hand in position, shoot, hand in position. Now, real hand position right here. In standard wrestling, it's the back of the head or the neck. Everybody out there, submission or a street wrestler, this is the real way Nelsons are done. The hand is not here. You're going to take your middle finger, you're actually making sure it needs to drape over the ear. This is where true leverage is. Take a look at the small difference here. I'm going to leave my hand here. I can win with the Nelson here, but Corey, resist the Nelson. If I eventually put all my weight on it, we're down. Small change in hand position, resist the Nelson. Totally different in the leverage. So the hands on all Nelsons will drape over where at least the middle finger is actually touching onto the ear. If you actually think about where your finger was digging into the ear hole, you know you've gone far enough with this thing. But this is not right. This is not right. This is correct. So let's do this about 50. He shoots, stops. There's the overhook, hand in position. Stay here for a moment. Shoots to here. This side, so you can see this hand come into play. Shoot. You notice I'm trying to remove my legs from him because I don't want to stay right here with my base close because he can still pick me up. I've got to make sure I'm controlling my base. Base, synonymous with balance, the entire way. Now once we're here, we would hit by pushing his chin to his chest and levering up with his arm. I'm going to roll you. Ready, sir? And taking him down to the mat. One more time from here. We're going to go down. And we're down. Since we're down, let's have you on your back, sir. Head, feet. We're already on the mat. We dropped him with this front quarter Nelson. I'm going to introduce you to two neck cranks right here. We've got a flat crank, and then we've got a chin hook crank. Now these can be hit almost any time you're in a crossbody position. We're not through with countering after double leg, but right now this is where we've thrown him. He winds up on his back. We're going to exploit that. And then I want you to start using your imagination. We'll revisit this as well to start seeing where this motion comes into so many places. I've hit him with the quarter. We'll turn. What will happen when I hit him with the quarter, this is where we finished off. We hit right here. Whenever I go into him in a crossbody ride, I go chest to chest on this guy, and I let my Nelson hand encircle his head completely. So we're here, I've gone chest to chest. It says this is hooked as completely as I can. I'm staying low on him, I've got my weight into him, I will put my hips through him, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to arch and look over my near side shoulder, the shoulder closest to his head. There's the tap. Let's turn this a little bit this way because I want them to see the magenta color your face goes. Ready? So we're here, make sure we had this. We just dropped him, I immediately cover and wrap the head. So I keep my hips low. I can't do this up here. There's space. He can start getting out. Hips down, and turn. Now, while we're on the mat, let's say we've done this, and we go, oh, he's not finishing up. Mark and Corey have lied to me. This hand is still wrapped around. This hand that's wrapped around can look and find the chin. I've just found the chin. So I've gone from the flat crank, and I say, wow, this isn't working out. Grab the chin. I will sit out onto my left hip. Sit out means just orienting going down to one haunch, or in this case the outside of the left thigh and buttock. Sitting out next to him, I'm pulling on the chin and sliding towards his shoulder. So here we are, flat crank, arch and look, chin hook. Those are healthy tabs. I don't blame you. Nice. Okay, so you got the flat right into the chin hook. Again, those will pop up later. Even places where we don't show them to you, keep in mind if you're in that position, you go, hey, my arm can go around them right here. And I think this thing will work out pretty good. Now we've shown you a front quarter Nelson. Let's play with another Nelson, which is a reverse Nelson. Back to the feet. He shot on us. We're still using the same hand to post and stop. Where we just had the hook coming all the way in to hit the stack position. If I remove the hand that was posted on his head and just hit him right here and drape this finger over, this right here is your reverse half. So here we have a front quarter, reverse half. There's so many Nelsons. It'd be nice if you can learn to memorize all these so you can start finding the variations, because Nelsons are devastating. Nelson's rule?
Very strong.
Here, what do you see at Princeton Bar? It's coming up later. So right here, this is your front quarter, this is your half. So same kind of setup. Post on the head, overhook, only difference is we're going right here. This leaves us an arm free to bang if we want to, start hooking if we want to. I'll show you some Princeton bars later on. But the levering is still going to be the same, which is my attacking shoulder is higher than the attacked shoulder. My fingers draped over in the ear. I'm pushing his chin towards his chest. And we've taken him down to the mat. One more time in that setup. We have the difference. We've got front quarter right here, and there's your reverse half. So front and reverse half. Let's take a look at how to do another way to counter out this double leg. Notice we're giving you more counters on the double leg than actually how to shoot them, which is the same thing with the jab. Jab is basically one punch. You've got so many ways to counter this thing out. We've got a double underhook. So whenever he shoots, I'm going to use both hands to direct the head. Whenever I do this, now I'm going to underhook both arms. Not clasping my hands, just underhooking both arms and keeping them tight across the scapula. I would try and keep his head in the center of my chest if at all possible. Once I give him room to start ducking out to an armpit, he can start slipping this thing out. We'll show you some of that in a bit. So it's a double underhook, keep the head in the chest. I'm going to let Corey do this one to me. He's not going to clasp his hands. It's a different move because he does this one all the time. I watch him tap many people with it. He's smiling with the memory. Don't tap me. Don't tap me. Don't tap, all right? Take a look. Notice how he's taking his hips out and away, keeping the back of my head centered in his chest. So I reach out to touch, looking for my leg dive. Here's the double underhook. Do it again. Satisfying, isn't it? Get a little payback. Right. That's your double underhook. Fairly easy sort of thing to hit. When you hit this double underhook, many things you can do. You can drive someone back into to the wall, the cage wall, parked car, whatever. You can also hit an elevator with this thing. I can do this to you because you're younger. So I hit this double underhook. In this case, we do have a head fed off to one side. I'm going to feed it off over here for a moment, so just pay attention to me and don't look at your face. So right here, I've got this double underhook. I would sit down on my butt while keeping the underhook, and I'm going to elevate on the side his head is on. An elevate is nothing more than taking the inside of an instep, or later you can see you can do this with the hamstrings, other portions of your leg, but an elevator is placing a portion of your legs underneath a thigh so you can move them over to their back. So what I mean is when he shoots, I got my double underhook, he shot his head off to one side. Now optimally I would try and maneuver to get it back in position, but if he's been strong to have this on one side, we'll turn this for a moment. I'm going to sit down on my butt. Since his head is off to my right, it's going to be the right foot that looks for the inner thigh. So I will sit down and try to do this slowly and nicely as possible. I'm trying to keep no pressure on his neck right now. And as I sit down on my butt, I will kick on this thigh. So here, kick. This will take him over. Once we're over in this position, now I will sit out on my hip to my right hip, slowly. Right into a stocks position. So we have the double underhook. Corey's fave. He's damn good at it too. If his head moves off the side, see him hit this too. You can hit this underhook. Remember, elevate, the side the head is on, kick him over. Do it again slowly so you can look at the finish. So we shoot. You know you're smart. So we shoot, double underhook, his head's off on the side. Now I would sit on my butt back here if I can. I'm going to try, I would be hopping underneath him to set this elevator. Ready, sir? Elevator! And over. Now I'm going to have you shift this direction just a moment. So you can take a look from this is how this is going to look when we hit. Right here, among my knees. Profile. Then sit out on my hips slowly. And what I'm finishing with is I'm spreading his arms back behind his above his head while I'm taking my armpit back into his neck, forcing his chin towards his chest. So we're here. You can imagine if you took a big, long, bad intention sit out, what this is going to do to the neck. What we can also do from this position, Corey does this all the time, is you can take the double arm lock, the double underhook, and just do a double bar lock, which is the same thing, except you actually reach behind and clasp your hands behind the back. You're still optimally trying to keep your head in the center of your chest. It's a good snap. Did I start that?
It's nice.
Good.
Yes.
Okay. You want to do this one to me?
Sure.
Double underhook, right into holding the hands together, to a double bar lock. You ready?
Elevator.
No elevator. See, I don't fall down. I'm old. You ready? Lucas' hands right there in that position. Put a little squeeze in there. There's the tap. So all I had to do was take his chest or hips through my neck, forcing it to my chin, and spread my arms out and keep this clasped the whole time. And that snap right there means stop, or you'll see tears before the camera. Ready to do it again? And again. It's enough hurting me. That was good. Okay, now we'll move on from that one. We've got the double bar with a back trip, which is horrible. Same thing. We hit. There's our double bar position, but again, the head's come out to the side. Now we've got to do something about this because I can't get the same pressure on his head. So the back trip, whenever his head's on my right side, I will use the back of my right heel against the back of his right heel. Nothing more than hitting here. As you can see what's going to happen now, we're back in that stocks position, except even more vicious because our hands are gripped together. So he shot, I got the double bar lock, his head's on my right, here, bam, I'm going to release for the sake of the drill, take the sit out, bam, there we go.
Very friendly.
Yes, I can. So he shoots, punch, get the double underhook to the double bar lock, his head is on the side, so it's on my right side, right heel to right heel, release for the sake of friendship, sit out, take the shot. Now, we would optimally be doing this all the way. Even in competition, I would release that to that double underhook position, save that for street or prison. That's the only two places I can think of really going to be putting that kind of thing in. Let's go ahead and take a look at putting a whizzer in now. A whizzer is a, not wizard like in Gandalf, but W-H-I-Z-Z-E-R. Sometimes remember we had some karate college we've taught before. Oh, wizard, that's magic. No, it's wrestling. Whenever he shoots, we're going to overhook an arm instead of a whizzer position. So whenever he shoots, for example, he's reaching for the body lock on this one. This is really great against people who have no concept of this hitting where he bends, but they're hitting right here. Now, whizzer's a super useful move that you can maybe use the crook of your arm, or you can actually go all the way down where you're using your shoulder, where you're actually going to attack his right arm. In this case, it's my left versus his right. I would use my left to backstep with my right in this position. Now, while I'm doing this, I'm decreasing my base on top of his shoulder, and I would be driving him all the way into the mat. So he shot, overhook, doing this slow, and bring him down. Perhaps, let's do one in this direction. Again, he shoots. There's a huge overhook on this side. Let's have the shoot again. I'm sorry, I was on that angle. Here. That's just setting the whizzer right here. Got your head, set the whizzer, then back step to bring him down. This is still hooked the whole way. Now, to do whizzer, I'm not facing him. I keep trying to turn off where my whizzer shoulder is pointing towards the mat, and I elevate the other shoulder to keep more pressure to the back of his arm. If I keep him even this way, he's able to keep gripping me in the seat belt, turn around in front of me if he wants to, and he's back in the game. But by doing this, can he turn in front of me? No. I've got some good weight on him here. So again, the whizzer, hook this thing up, and you can drive him really, really hard in the mat. Would you like to do one to me about 75%? That'd be nice. Please, sir. There you go. It's the whizzer. Now, we can play a little bit more with that whizzer. We can have a whizzer with an ankle pickup. He shot. I've hit the whizzer right here. It doesn't matter the relationship of the feet. My feet can be in front. It can be behind. With my free hand, I shot this whizzer, and he's been pretty strong. Listen, he could even post it on the mat to stop this thing up. We'll turn a little bit so we can see. He's posted. My free hand just hooked behind his heel, finishes off the whizzer. We'll see, that was my leg behind his. We can do the same thing, my leg in front of his. You're going to see it just drops his base. All you got to do is just read the whizzer. His base is going to go out from underneath him. Let's take a look at both versions again. He shoots, whizzer right here, drop. Catch you with the whizzer right here, and drop down. Now, let's take the whizzer with your ankle pickup. Let's take a look at a really mean version. The whizzer with the fallback. We shot. He shot. I hooked the whizzer. Here's the important work now. My left arm's doing the whizzer. I'm staying lazy with it right now. The important thing is this left leg. I come between his legs. We hit a grapevine. A grapevine is any time that you use your legs to start wrapping his up. So I'm actually going to use my instep to wrap behind it. So we're here to here. We got to do this one so slow because this hurts. What I'm going to be doing here is I hook the whizzer. He's got good base. He's been traveling with me. I'm going to finish this guy up. And I'm worried, even if I'm worried about reaching for this, I'm going to hook this grapevine. Now, when I hook this grapevine, I'm going to kick the grapevine leg up and forward while lifting on this whizzer. We'll do this nicely. Okay, we're right here, space. Let's move it up a little bit. Go ahead and hook the grapevine up. You just say, well, right here, I'm going to torque your knee. There's the grapevine. I would fall back, pull, and kick. Just drop that leg out. You good? Yeah. So we shot, we're here, grapevine, and kick to bring it back. While we're working on that one, we shot, we hooked the whizzer, I got the grapevine in, and this guy's leaning, just like he is. And he's going, oh, no, I've seen this. Okay, so kicking back, I'm not going to be able to do, but notice, the whizzer's in, grapevine's in, but there's his base. Let's move this back a little bit. Since his base is right there, free hand will block out his far arm. I'm just going to not drag it, but make sure he can't move out with it, hit him with the whizzer, elevate his whizzer leg, the grapevine leg to the rear and drive him over. So we're here, kick. This brings him down. You got a hard job. So we're here. So I'm blocking, and this leg before the fallback, kick forward. In this version, I'm kicking back. Here. Is that sweet or what? Okay. So let me do that solo once. The first version, the fallback was hook, and kick back. This one, hook, and kick in this direction while you're blocking out. Deceptive falls, aren't they? Yeah. It gets really hard to read which way you're going to go with this thing. Let's take a look at another one. Blocking this double out. He shoots. We've got a bar and chancery. At this point, what we got is we're going to overhook the head. I'm overhooking with the right. I'm going to underhook with the left, right in here. Now this is a common position. Actually, lots of jiu-jitsu guys place themselves in this chancery position. You'll hook a guillotine or headlock and they throw this arm over. And you just go, oh, thank you, and run right into this. But here we're going to take it off a more realistic, at least for us, double leg. So whenever he shoots, we're here, guide down to right here. Right now we're just using the bar and chancery to set. He shoots to this position. So it was an overhook on the head and underhook on the arm. So slowly, you're here. Once we've done that, since my right arm's overhooked, I would back step with the right leg. Let's do this. So look at this. We're back in position. Remember that flat crank I mentioned earlier? There it is. Let's turn a little bit. That chin crank we mentioned earlier. Get all the chin. You take sit out. There it is. So you've taken the bar arm and chancery, and you've run it back into some previous techniques of the same two cranks we used off of the front quarter Nelson, which can be used anytime you've got your arm right behind the head in that particular relationship. Just a few more. stay with us. We hit a cross face before, same thing. We hit a cross face, hit a lazy one with this one because we were doing drill purposes right here. As we hit the mat, he shoots. I'm kind of sprawling it down, changing my level with him, hit a cross face, and my free hand as I'm turning the corner will hit a far ankle, which means, go ahead and go on your hands and knees for a moment. And I use my free hand to hook them. The ankle's fine, but optimally at the laces. There's greater leverage. These are called ankle picks, when really they should be called lace picks to hit at the instep. So we're going to hit the cross face, run around, hit the far ankle, and then we drive over him with our chest. So he shoots, lazy cross face for safety purposes, change base as we're going down to the mat. Now, let's take this one down from a lower position. We're here, shoots, bang to your knees. We're here, all the way to the knees. Hit the laces and chest over. These last few we're showing you here optimally where you have sprawled to some degree. And we're down here, we're working. We're hit, there, here. That was the far ankle, releasing right now. So I don't keep as much pressure on, but I would keep this far ankle. You can start running these things in all sorts of toe holds. You can also cross face the near ankle. Let's have your attractive side of the camera. I'm doing a cross face just like we did before. I've reached for this, but this leg's out. I can't find it. So in this case, I'm lacing on the near foot. I just pick it up. Same thing about chesting into them. So again, I've done the cross face, turn, that's hidden, lace into them, pick up the near ankle. We've also got, from right here, we can stay in this position, he shot. I don't have a cross face at this point, but I'm still driving into him with my sprawl. The handwork here is I'm reaching for a rear crotch, in this case with my left hand, and I'm reaching for a front crotch with my right hand. I'm looking to grip my hands, so it's going to look something like this. So I'm trying to get my weight off towards the side I'm working on. Once I have these hands gripped, just picking him up and throwing him over. One more time from that angle. He shoots, he's driving, we're here, there's the grip, throw him over. From this angle perhaps, he shoots, he's driving, hipping through, to here, there's the turnover with the crotch lift. Last, certainly not least, the inside ankle spreader. Let's have this angle again, you're facing it. He's driven, again, down low, and I've had a problem getting all the way, turn the corner. I don't have a cross face in. I can't get the far ankle, inside ankle, not been as successful as I like, but what I can do is I can pick up on this near ankle. But you will notice, if I just pick up on it, this lets him keep driving into me, keep driving, and I start falling back on my butt. So what I am going to do is I pick up out first, and then to this direction. It puts some unnatural torque on the knee and the hip. So we're driving, it's been tough, out, and over. You good?
Yeah.
Slow. We're here, out, and over. You got right there, we've shown you 4 ways on that double leg, and I think a myriad of ways right there on your defense. Remember, that double leg, just like the jab, you're going to need this thing time and time and time again, but your vocabulary has got to be huge for ways to counter that thing off. Work those hard. All right, we've taken a look at how to do the double leg takedown, which again is your jab of your takedowns, and we've taken a look with many, many ways to counter out the double leg. Well, it doesn't stop there. We need to make sure that everything has a counter, recounter, so on and so forth ad nauseum. So we've already shot the double leg, we've countered the double leg. I'm going to give you a few different ways to start countering out some of the counters to the double leg. Now remember earlier we talked about the sprawl. We advised you against hugging around the body, for example, in this manner right here. The reason we do not hug in the body is that you can be hit with a double reverse wing. Now, again, vocabulary at this time. A wing is any time you immobilize one of your opponent's limbs that is wrapped around your body. It's usually done against an arm. So, for example, if I have my right arm seatbelt here and Corey overhooks it, he has set a wing. He's overhooked it, and the wing will actually be whenever he dips and rolls. Go ahead, wing. And he's essentially executed for a wing. Don't worry about trying to memorize that one right now. It's going to come up in a whole little section on wings, which makes it pretty easy to find because it says wings on it. Now, I'm going to show you how to hit a double reverse wing. Corey has shot, and I have sprawled incorrectly. I've hugged his body. This is a real common thing for lots of inexperienced or intermediate fighters to do. They want to sprawl in, but they think for some reason, if I hang on to this guy tight, he can't go anywhere. All I'm doing is helping this guy. So hit a double reverse wing. Corey will overhook both elbows and then duck his head out to one side, and then he will look hard to the ceiling, take a sit out, and roll me over. You ready to do this?
Yes, sir.
You're a star. There's his double reverse. Notice he's overhooking both elbows with the crooks of his arm at this time because I made a bad call. His head's got to come up. It looks to the sky. If he just does a lazy duck out with his head, just do the lazy version, I'm able to just kind of drag him over. That's just pretty much just falling over on your haunches here. You got to make sure you really look hard and up. Give the solo version kind of up, look big, up into position. See, that's perfect. If I were there for him to support his body on, he would already be in top position. So we'll take a look at the double reverse again. He shot, we're here, and hit. Good. Let's do that one time for fun and about 80% tempo. Let's go from you shoot, me sprawl, I get the body lock, double reverse swing.
Down here up.
Start right here. Right there. Beautifully done. I can get you to tell that. But keep in mind, I got to say this. I do most of the talking. Corey's excellent. He's really? Yeah, he's really good. But I just talk a lot more than he does. Now we're going to continue on with some of these wing variations. Remember the one we did where we had the underhook and we had the thigh pry position? We're over here, so we shot. We had this underhook on this side. On this side we had the thigh pry position right in here. Now we can do a wing in the same way in the sense that he will overhook this arm, and on this side he will grab the wrist. He will just gain wrist control right in here. So look at, he's immobilized two limbs again, and what he will do is he will take a wing, he will duck out, excuse me, on the elbow control side, over in this position. We'll go back to the knees. All these can be done from the knees or the standing position. We're going to do them from the knees right now so we control the gravity a little bit more. So he controls the far wrist, he controls the elbow, same thing, look to the sky, he takes the roll over. And again, let's go from the standing, he shoots, we're here, this against this, and this, I'm blocking him from coming in. Take your wing, shots. There's the shot. So what you had to do was immobilizing elbow and immobilizing the wrist. Now, we can also, against, when we had the double underhook, so whenever someone shoots in, we got this position. Remember, this was the double bar. We're talking the underhook. Bars are tough. Against the double underhook, there's many ways to start fighting this thing out. In this particular one, we're going to have him hit a wrist and a reverse swing, which means he will control an elbow and a wrist on one side. Okay? We're getting nitpicky with these different grips. So we got a elbow and a wrist, same thing. He will duck out over here on the elbow side and control. Go ahead and take it. And over. Do it once for the knees. I hit the double underhook. He's got the wrist and the elbow. So there you have a reverse swing along with the wrist against that double underhook. Now, what you can also do is just call a double elbow lock against this double underhook, which is I'm still doing the same double underhook. The difference is he grabs both elbows. Okay, you know, well, Mark, do we need this many? You gave me an elbow and he held the wrist on the other side. We want to make sure that when you're running through your drills, you've got You've played with all the permutations, so nothing feels foreign, nothing feels alien to you. No matter where you lay your hands into position, you're going to start having an answer for what's going on. I mean, that is the basis of true scientific wrestling, leaving nothing to chance. So again, we're coming underneath, double elbow lock. Again, it's called elbow lock. It doesn't mean taking a submission at this point. It means he's just locking the elbows in tight. We'll do this one for the knees. We've got the shot, double underhook. He grips both elbows, takes a wing with the duck out there. There we go. I flapped out myself. Did you really? Let's see if you can tap yourself in the feet. Be careful because I can't break fall on this one, okay? Ready? So, he takes a shot, double, he's got it, hits, bam. Nicely done. A little bit of a thump on that one, but that's my fault. There's no real way to control that one. Now, so far we had the double underhook. We've hit that with the wings. And we've hit it with the revert, with the elbow lock. We've hit the wrist. We can also hit a fireman's carry against this double underhook. Let me run this one. So we're shooting in. He's got his double underhook. I'm doing the exact same thing as we just did with the double elbow lock. Look, we got both of these wrapped up. Now, I'm going to duck out, side facing the camera, so to my left, and I will bang my right knee to the mat. So I'm hooking the elbows and ducking to right here. So it's here. Again, the key to these wings is getting your head out to the side, as Corey was just showing you earlier. So that's the first portion of the motion. So at the same time, when I would take that duck out and bang the knee, I'm going to reach deep into the crotch. Now once I've done this, I can go down on both knees, or I can stay up on this one if I think I've got more strength, or I got a greater weight on him. I'm going to pull on the elbow that I kept, and I'm going to lift with the high crotch on the opposite side. So it looked like this is slow. He's on top. I've got him loaded on me already. Pull and lift. Oh, that sounded fun. Okay, let's do it again. So, I have shot, double underhook, double elbow lock. I just can't release the elbow and reach in here because he's stopping me. So I got to make sure he can't go anywhere, and I just can't reach for it because he can pancake me back to the mat. Go ahead and do that. There you go. I was going to say a swear word, Corey. That was good. So we shoot. So I got to drop with my base and make sure he can't pancake me. It's my entire weight coming through. So I get that hook, and then I can bang this knee down and take the rocker version of this fireman's carry. One more time. Okay. Notice I make you do the following ones 3 or 4 times. I only do it once. Let's do it. Okay. So shoot. We're in here. Drop for base. There it is. Now, there's another version of the fireman's carry, particularly if you got a guy who's a bit bigger than you. We've got a guy, who's Mitch, 260? Yeah. Big guy. Good wrestler, too. And if we try to do this same rocker version, we might get so far in our lumbar spine goes, ah! No, don't do that. So we got to have a variation for that. Same thing, double underhook, double elbow lock, but this time, instead of me just banging this way, this is the right knee that was going to go to the mat. I'm going to step through between his legs. Let me release for a moment. I'm stepping deep with this foot and still hanging on to this elbow. I'll hopefully take the dump over here. Dump me and drop him over, and nothing particularly nasty you find on the website. So we're here, hang on and step through and hit through. This arm still drops out and gets the high crotch hook. We'll try and do that slow. It's tough because I have to have my basis ending. So we shot. Double underhook, hang on to here as I'm stepping through, and then release at the last moment. Ta-da. Ready for that one, about 70? So I shoot, double, and there's the rollover. Now, we've done the fireman's carry and such. Remember that bar and chancery we had? Where he overhooks the head, underhooks an arm, is able to drop us right down to a flat neck crank or a chin hook crank. We need some good answers for that because that is a formidable position. Where we talked before where Corey uses the double bar lock a lot. I love to use that bar and chancery position. Well, here's how to beat that. He hits the bar in chancery. I've got to get control of both. I'm going to control the elbow on the head side and on the arm side the best I can. You'll notice this is a bit of a reach because he's got a good underhook on me. No one's going to leave this out easy for you to snag, so reach the best you can. Now once I've done that, my head side leg, the side that my head's on, my left leg is nearest to me right now. This left leg is going to step between his legs. Whenever I step this left leg between his legs, I'm going to back step with the other leg. So the footwork will look like here and here. And while I'm doing that, I'm lifting on the head side elbow and I'm pulling on the arm side elbow. Try this as nicely as we can. So it's here and here, steps. And taking a rollover. I'm hanging on loosely to his arms right now because this is a very hard throw for me to control for him. He ends up flat backing and we don't want to hurt each other. Ready? So again, we shot, he hits his bar of chancery, control on both sides. It's not this leg stepping through, head side leg with the back step, because while I'm turning, it's me trying to arch and look. That helps take him. If I'm just trying to turn this way, release for just a moment. You'll see what happens if I'm not looking at the sky. It's taking my neck in this position. And here's your little bit of drill on strength. Your neck and spine have to be in alignment for you to keep your strength. Simple test is to find someone who's doing a handstand push-up or doing a military press. For example, Corey's doing a little fake military press right here, and he gets, let's say, 150 pounds over his head right now. Now, if I want him to drop that weight, all I have to do is take 2 fingers, push his head to the side. This will drop. Same thing any kind of wrestling. If someone's really strong on you right here, push into me, push, push, push. As soon as we take the head out of alignment, a lot of the strength goes away. So the same thing with bar and chancery. I'm just trying to turn here. I just took my head out of alignment, so my neck and spine have to stay in alignment with this upward orientation. So I can always stay with this stiff back position. So I'll lock both things up, head side foot between the legs, back step, keep everything locked down tight. I will have a relatively loose grip on his arms so he can control his descent. So shot, bar and chancery, control, back step, and I have good posture all the way over. Also against the bar and chancery, you can hit what's called an underarm spin. I'll show you this one, attractive side of the camera momentarily. We're here, underarm spin before this hits. I still got the same hooks. Control the head arm and the underhook arm. What I'm trying to do is hit a sneak on the underhook arm. A sneak is nothing more than trying to get a lift. And these, you'll be hitting these all the time. A sneak or a slip, you'll be hitting these in the Nelson category that we've got in this series. I'm going to try and get a lift and get my head ducked out to the underhook side. It's obviously that I cannot go to this side because he's got me stopped up over here. So if I do not put the lift in, he stops me. His elbow's in position and I can't get through. Let's go profile for a moment. Dills me through. Can't make it. I'm just hurting my own neck. But if I get a lift in at the same time, I'm able to duck out on the other side. And once I take that duck out, we'll freeze it here. I'm already here. I'm going to start turning back into him, but I'm leaving this upper arm, his humerus, my shoulder and the neck. I'm turning, and I'm grabbing his wrist. I'm getting a 2-on-1 on his body. We're going to go all the way to the mat with my head and shoulder on his arm while I'm hanging on to his arm with both hands at the same time. We do it a few times slow. It's actually an easy technique once you realize what's going on. So here's the slip and lift. Head ducks out, high to the sky, 2-on-1. Keep your weight on it, and drop to the mat. One time. Slew. Here. Lift. Duck. Hook. And it's the body weight. The head and the shoulder and the back of the arm. One time at 70. Okay. So we're here. We got the hook up. Here. Got both locked up. 2 hooks. Lift. And down with the underarm spin. Nicely done. Now, we still got it on with the bar and chancery. Like I said, it's one of my favorite moves. We're giving you all these ways to beat it. And to keep in mind, just because we give you counters, keep in mind we showed you double legs. We showed you more counters for double legs, the double leg variations right now. It doesn't mean throw your double legs away. Still incredibly high percentage takedown. And here we're showing you counters to double leg counters. This can keep going on and on and on. Again, what we're trying to do here with this program is get you up to speed, beyond speed. We're moving you up here to Mach 5 with your grappling program, so everything will really get a sense. You'll get a sense of the totality of grappling, instead of trying to grab little bits and pieces of information here and there. Okay, against this the bar and chancery, we already had the underarm spin versus the bar and chancery. We can also take the standing forearm and rear crotch bar and chancery counter here. So what we've got is I'm going to have both hooks going on right now like we had before, blocking with the head side and on the underhook. And what I'm going to do is I will keep the underhook side, which is blocking out this arm side, and I'm going to try and duck and look towards the back. Now, the thing is, he will still be trying to weight me down, but as I turn to the back, if I feel the weight coming back down on me, I will turn into him, release the head side arm, and grab the near leg. And at this point, I'm pulling hard on his underhook arm, and I'm head hooking with my head, just like we did in the double leg tackle and the double leg dive, and I'm just blocking this knee out. So we're here, and I'm hooking, trying to turn, drive, and down to the mat. So we go in, block up like we did on every single one of them, trying to come out to my head side, keeping my head nice and tight, pulling tight on the underhook side arm, releasing to here, and using the head hook to drop them down. Now, the bar and chancery, again, the chancery is the grip around the neck, the bar is where you're coming underneath the arm. Someone can hit a straight chancery in this sort of thing, and we can actually hit a crotch lift. You can also hit a crotch lift off the bar and chancery. I'm going to show you that answer for both the bar and chancery and just a single chancery. So we hit the bar and chancery here. And the crotch lift can be nothing more than me turning the corner. Instead of hooking the leg, I'm hooking up underneath for this high crotch position and taking the lift. So it was pulling on the arm, underhooking the thigh, and I'll take a back lift. Now, I had bad neck position when I first showed you because I was trying to look at the camera and talk to you. This is not how you would lift. I need to hook and arch and look up. So hang onto the arm, turn the corner, not reach for the leg, reach high in the crotch, lift, and then you can spin them and drop them down on his head or shoulders. Right now we'll just get the lift. So there's the bar and chancery, take the turn, and there's the lift. It doesn't really take any imagination to see what's going to happen from here. Since I have control of his near side arm, it's going to take a nasty fall. We won't make that happen. We'll do it one more time. Let's do it back to the camera without the drop in it. So we're here, turn, and there's the lift. These are not strength moves. It's finding where your opponent's base is, as a center of balance, and picking them up. That's why these high crotches work so well, because they're getting closer and closer to the hips all the time. Now we got the chancery and lift, which is chancery is just the hook on the neck. No arm. So show them the bar and chancery. There's the bar and chancery, and just the chancery is right here. It's a tough move. Some people call it a guillotine. But you notice he's got different hand stack position. We covered this before in our ABCs. Then HB, real quick, go ahead and hit that. He's got posting on my shoulder instead of hooking up in his hands, and that way he's able to use a gooseneck motion with his wrist. Go ahead to take the tap out. As soon as I feel a chancery hit, I'm going to take my free arm away from the head, and come over the shoulder between our heads to hook his the head in the reverse half. And I'm going to reach for a front crotch position and get a similar sort of lift to what we just did against the bar and chancery. So I shot, I feel this come in, hook, it comes between the heads if at all possible, and we get this pick. If he's doing a standard guillotine choke, it's all the easier for you to hit. Keep in mind, while you're doing this, look what happens whenever you're doing this guillotine. This is actually not formally part of the outline. Just keep in mind, whenever I do this motion in between, I fed him a bar and chancery. Hit the bar and chancery now. Look at that. We're back down to the mat. So while you're doing any sort of reverse Nelson lift against a chancery, you're going to have to keep in mind that he might run off to a bar and chancery. When he does, run to one of the 3 previous counters that we just gave you for a bar and chancery, so you can tie these things together. We can keep chaining them for you right now, but we're trying to kill 384 moves here. We don't want to eat up any more of your time. Okay, we're also taking a look now how to beat the whizzer a few different ways. Whenever I've shot and he hooks the whizzer in. Let's go on this side. All right. He hooks the whizzer. I can beat the whizzer with a heel lift or what's called a hawk lift. I'm going to give you both versions right now. When he's hooking the whizzer, he's getting ready to take me down the mat. I take my free arm, I reach through and I grab his near ankle, and I just hit a lift. So again, we're going to hit this slow. I shoot. Here's the whizzer. He's turning the corner, and I pick up the leg. So it's nothing more than that. Hook and pick up to take the base. The hawk lift version just means hawk, H-O-C-K. I'm underhooking and picking up the near thigh. So we know we're hitting. Go ahead and run the whizzer down to the mat. There's your whizzer. To make this happen, he's got to have this little back step footwork with his near leg, so that's why we're attacking the near leg. So we're hooking, going about 50, gets right here. We can find that leg and take his whizzer power away from him. So we hook, we either got inside ankle or the hawk lift right there. So, you've got double legs, counters for double legs, and then we showed you some recounters. Not done, let me give you a couple more ways to counter out some recounters, and one more on top of that, because this thing can keep going, but hopefully to open your eyes and give you an idea of everything that can happen here. Let's go back over here where Corey had a double underhook, and I dropped down to take a fireman's carry. Where I drop down this position, well, he can stall this thing out just by hitting a sprawl, like we did. That was our first defense against a double leg. Hit the sprawl. Now look what that does to my body right here. So what we've done is I've shot an offensive motion. He's defended it. I've recountered. He countered one more time. So try to keep your eyes open to how a chain will work. So I will shoot, double underhook. I will shoot down for the fireman's carry. He will sprawl. So here we go. Here, double underhook. The sprawl, he breaks it out. Let's give you one more chain piece on this right now. You know, the nature of this series has not changed, just to make sure we're on the same page how this should be done. Go back, tweak those. Yeah. Cool. Good. You're the one with the first injury. Purple Heart. Then we drop down, and I hit this fireman's carry. He hits a sprawl. I will, chances are, have lost this leg position because the sprawl takes it away from me. I will keep my overhook on his arm. So we're here. Stand up for a moment. I hit the fireman's carry. He hits a sprawl. This is a tough position. I will keep this position. This arm will sneak out and come over his body and hit a version of a pancake. Pancake is anytime you're able to flip, turn someone to their back. So again, we're up. I hit the fireman's. He's hit the sprawl. I'm caught down. Keep this hooked in. Come over the body. Start elevating and turning over. So, more for academic purposes to keep in mind when you're moving through this, do not treat the movements as single, isolated events, but just like in boxing, everything is a combination with a logical call and response counter to what's going on. I don't want you to shoot a double leg and think, oh, I did a sprawl, now I'll do a backflip. No, everything has to make sense in the context of your shooting. So, as far as your double legs, counters, and recounters, that's a pretty healthy portion right there. Work these diligently. Okay, we're going to take a look at single leg takedowns. Now we've shown you double legs, single legs. Double legs are high percentage, just like a jab. And that's more of a new school way of thinking about the takedowns. The old-timers, they thought that the single leg was the highest percentage. So I pretty much think that you want to combine them both and use both the old school of thought and the new school of thought. There's no exaggeration at all whenever I say that we could do, as far as double legs, single legs, and the counters and recounters for them, we could stand here and talk to you for 3-4 hours on that, and it probably is worth that sometime, just because you've got such a wealth of information there for such a high percentage move, and to have an actual grappling system, you got to get people down to the mat. Right now, I'm going to give you a couple of really high percentage ways to get this high single, and then we're going to show you a few ways to start countering this thing out. Just like we did with the double leg, we're just not going to go into nearly as much information right now. Not because it doesn't exist, it's because right now I think this is the most important stuff that you're going to need. Now, a high single takedown is where we have a double leg. Pretty much we're trying to block out both legs. Here on a single, we're just trying to control one leg at a time. Now, you can either have two ways to grip this thing out. I can take his lead leg and have the other arm in a seat belt. How this can happen is if I shot for a double leg dive and he's dropped one leg back away from me, so I come up for this single pickup. That's one way. That's pretty easy to envision doing, and it's just pretty much you're taking your leg dives and coming to here. What I want to show you is a more scientific way to hook this high single. You're always going to be hooking the single with your inside hand first, meaning my right hand versus his right leg, and not vice versa. If I take my left hand in first, his basic counter against this incorrect form is to hook a whizzer. So if we're here, you can see slow-mo, bam, he hooks and goes down. You do one of those about 80%, I'll come in and you hook it so we're right. Oh, sure, you're glad.
For 90%.
90? Let's drop it to 50%. Here we go. Okay. And we're down. He's blocked it out. There is no whizzer if I come in with my right versus right with the inside hand. So we know it's going to be the inside hand first. We're going to pay attention to the same idea of that we want our toes to penetrate the plane of glass, because I do not want this portion here. I've got the snap. He's got the snap down on me, so I need to step through. For the same kind of thing, I could reach down and touch the toe and keep base. Now, if you take a look at a particular gripping position, whenever I do get the leg picked up, outside hand then comes through, and it will be palm down. So I'm going to hook with the inside hand, outside comes in, palm down, and then I hook my hands together in a palm-to-palm grip. This grip is vital to what we're showing you here. So whenever we pick this leg up, let me turn this a little bit. Here's the grip. Inside hand came through, outside hand came through, and it's palm down, inside hand is palm up, and I've got the outside hand is the one that's penetrating through. I do not have the V of the hands behind his knee. I got the outside hand through so I can dig through with the inner forearm bone. The reason we have our grips in this position, let me switch the grip over and show you the difference. We're not making this up. Try it so you can see. So if he's hopping, I haven't taken him down yet, he's hopping around, pull my hands apart. Again, pull them apart. No problem. Let me turn my grips over how we're telling you to do it. Pull them apart. Just this change in hand positions gives you the light to hook this thing up and start looking for your trips, your barzagers, windmills, all these different ways to drop them down. So it's going to be inside hand, outside hand through, into a palm to palm. Whenever you take this single, it's called a high single because we're working in the high portion of the leg. There's a low single we'll be covering soon, and also you want to be lifting this leg as high as you can. Now what we're going to do right now is we're going to hook this high single, we're going to pick this thing up. So in here, we'll be able to touch him, smack, and pull this thing up. And again, we've got to be able to touch before we can shoot. So it's here, and up. I've got my grip in proper position. Now, let me give you a drop from here is basically me continue to lift and look to the sky. This will cause, I don't even have to put a sweep in, which you can, which will cause this leg to hop off the mat enough for him to go down. Good enough for me to hit that one time? And hit and left. So we're here. Drops him down to the mat. I can cover him at that point, stomp at that point. A really fun way to play the game sometimes is to drop, and they're down, stay up. Wait till they get back up, so you keep dropping them a few more times, take some wind out of them. So all we did to drop that was to pick up, lift, and look to the sky. Takes his base away. Now another way we can do this is with an inside trip. We'll hook the high single, and since I've got his right leg, my right leg comes in heel to heel, and we would just drive through him and drop him to the mat. So we've got the single, we've got the lift, so right heel to right heel. There's the drop. I mean, that's self-explanatory almost at that point. Here we are again. Here, hook, 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 hook. Here to here. Now, we're not playing with submissions on this particular takedown, but I do want you to keep in mind, one reason when we're falling, we would optimally like to have his leg always between your legs, because at this point, it's so easy to hit a short knee scissors by dropping through, and we can pop this knee at this point. All we would have to do at this point is drive through, step the foot over, and take this leg out. That had to do with keeping his foot under my butt, dropping back, driving this one under his butt, stepping one foot on top, and thinking about taking my butt towards his butt. My hands are already in position, correct position from the high single to make that technique occur. So you've got a high single, and the main thing is to work that proper grip. I would suggest working rounds of just reaching with the correct hand, getting the proper grip, then hitting the lift, and then more rounds on hitting that inside trip. Need to address how to start countering out a high single. So Corey hooks up a high single on my leg. He's got it in the air. He's playing a good game. We already know we can't rip his hands apart. So what we're looking for is a more convenient way to hook this. We're going to try and pull off the double wrist lock. A double wrist lock in jiu-jitsu circles, some people it's a kimura, it's a down paintbrush, it's an entanglement lock. It's a double wrist lock. That's what it started out being. That's what it's going to be to me. I'm going to overhook this arm, hook his wrist, and then figure four my own hands. Let's do this nicely. So it's here, it's overhook, here, and here. So even if he has his hands tight, I now have a nice stabilizing grip to lift and pull. So he's got this leg in the air. I would be hopping around while I'm trying to fight this out, because he's looking to get a lift, and I'm trying to prevent him from getting all the way up high on this lift so I can hook this thing up. Once I have this, then we're looking to drive your leg to the mat and rip this arm to the sky. There's ways to continue on with, down to the mat with the double wrist lock and run through a submission chain. We're not going to cover it right now. Trust me, hold your horses. It comes up later in this material. So he hooks up the high single, keep his head controlled, and hook up the double. Now, when I'm talking about head control, as soon as he picks this leg up, I can't be out here, or he's going to pick me up and do the same thing that I just did to him earlier. I got to keep his head down, here, weave through. It's got to be that motion right there. He's opening that up a bit so we can see what's going on. And to break this out, I'm jerking on this arm and jerking my leg down to the mat. One more time at 60. Now, let's say he picks this leg up, and he's got this elbow wing back tight in his body, and I can't get through. I can get past the elbow, but I can't get enough wiggle room to come out to here. But if I can get past the elbow, we'll just hit a standing switch. So I overhook the elbow. The double is out of the question at this point. Now this hand will come in palm against his inner thigh. What I'm looking to do is pull with my palm while driving this leg down to the mat and hit a standing switch to turn around. And a switch is nothing more than, let's go down to the knees for a moment, any position where you're overhooking with an arm and then underhooking at the leg and then pulling to allow yourself to turn a corner. So what we're hitting here is a standing switch. We'll cover switches in more detail in the section in and of itself, so he picks it up. Double out of the question, I'm able to overhook, hand in. So overhook elbow, hand to the thigh, drive this to the mat, pull. Now I've gained his back. Rear body lock position, that's to come. One more time, pick, overhook, hit the switch. Now, we also have a standing arm drag. A drag, section in and of itself, is pulling the upper arms. So when he hooks the single at this point, if this arm is winged out, I could have had the option to work here for the double. I could have also had the option to work to the inside immediately. Here, we're going to work to the inside immediately, or it could be you couldn't hit the switch, but I can't pry from this far. I decided to hook to here. So, release for just a moment. I'll pull on his upper arm, and while I'm pulling, I'm looking to release my leg. I'm going to pull, turn the corner, and I'm going to use my free arm to overhook him behind the knee. I'm going to fall down on my right hip, so the whole thing will be pull, turn, and drop. Facing the camera by myself, so it'll be here, here, and this turning position. So he picks it up. Pry that thing out. Sorry about that elbow. Hit this drag in, turn the corner, and go all the way down to the mat. We'll try and hit that as slowly as we can. That was still somewhat controlled. It's hard one to take slow. So we're here. Pry. Here's the drag. Turn the corner. Pull. Pull. Drop. This leg is actually trying to slide between the legs. We'll go as slow as we can. Here. Pull and keep turning to face back into us. One more time, about 60, no more than that. So he shoots, pry, here's the drag, and then we're all the way down the mat with the standing arm drag. Okay, last but not least, again, there's many more of these, at least for right now. We talked about a double wrist lock. This position, this is a double. There's a lot more people becoming more familiar with this vocabulary. I think why is it called a double wrist lock? Because you're using two arms on it. And people go, just a single. Is there such thing as a single? Yeah, that's a single right there. So he picks this arm up. I hit the pry in. If I'm able to come underneath and hook in this position, it can be hooked like this or like this. So let's take a look. This can be a single hook, or the crook of the arm is a single hook. But this relationship of back of the armpit to back of the armpit is vital. So he picks it up, wing it, and I get the run. Now, this isn't enough. I can start lifting here. I've broken the grip, but this leg has been picked up. I'm going to use that as an elevator. Remember, that's the instep. Use my instep against his near side thigh, which is his right. I'm going to elevate with the single, lift with the single, and kick with my right leg. So it's here, up and over the mat. I can turn into him and start running this into a double wrist lock. That's to come. So remember where we start flying the single to run that to a double. Again, what we've done is picked it up, pry, hook the single, elevator, lift, and I can turn the corner and then rehook it to a double position. Many, many ways to do a high single, many, many ways to counter it out. Those are a few, but those are pretty high percentage. Work them hard. All right, we've covered a high single takedown, and we've covered some counters for it, just like we did with the double leg. Let's run a few re-counters for those counters. So what you've got here is you're shooting the high single. Your partner sets up his counter on it. Let's find ways to start beating, make sure that you can beat whatever his answers are. So, for example, right now I'll shoot single. Corey hooks up. We'll turn a little bit. He hooks up the double wrist lock on me. Hooks the double wrist lock. We know it's a pretty formidable movement right here. I will release his leg. He's going to be ripping this hard and fast towards the mat, so we have to do this quickly. Release his leg, and then clasp your own hands together to block this up. Once you clasp your own hands, you're looking to bring your hands back right in front of where your belt buckle would be, right in front of your navel, and this can really stop him from being able to rip this thing over. So go ahead from here. Hook up. Can you rip that over? Walk it up. Now watch this. If I bring my hands out to here, look at the rip over. You can hold the hands apart. So my job is to get them right in front of the navel, and that gives me this gets my center of mass a lot stronger in this position. So same thing. We've got high single. He's got his double wrist lock. Release. Pull your hands right back to position. Called an inside-out counter. Real simple little motion. Can work right here. He reaches through, grabs hands, pulls it back to the center. As I said, you can just drill that sometimes if you want, because the standing double, you hook mine up. It's a really useful motion to have. Also, one of the counters we had against the high single was where we had the switch. I hooked this up, and he's herded his arm over mine, hooked it on this leg, he turns the corner. If you hit that, we'll turn it back around and let you hit that again. We got the switch. I'm setting up these lazy high singles right now, so I want you to pay attention to his counter so we can show what the recounter is going to be. High single, inserts, here's the switch. Now, we're going to do this again. What you can do is hit a re-switch. I've hooked up, he hooks the switch, turns the corner. Now, as he's turning the corner, notice my hands are in relation, his hand pops down, but look at this. We are both the exact same position. We've got armpit, back of the armpit, hands on the inner thigh. He just hit his switch. My re-switch would be me just pulling off, continuing on with the momentum to turn the corner. So, I'm going to shoot the high, he will switch, and I will re-switch. It's hard to say. Let's hit that 3 times fast. Let's not. Ready? Me to a single, him to a switch, me right into a re-switch. Starts looking like this little do-si-do position, but it keeps you in control of the fight. So again, slow. Here, hook, pick up, switch, he turns. I'm in the same position right here. This is the key. Pull out and hit my own switch position. One more time slow. Pay attention to the arms. Here, pick up, there's the switch. And then I hit the re-switch position. Now we've got another one where we counter with the drag. I hit this position here. He hooked to the inside of my arm, come to the inside, and remember he dropped to his haunches, reached around my knee, and pulled me down the drag. Go ahead and do so. And we're down. What you can do is to hit a re-drag. So whenever I pick up, he reaches for that drag, I will release and grab his arm. So even if as he's turning the corner and drop it down, I'm pulling on his arm and stepping my leg over the top of him. This is a real slightly confusing one. Let's run this one to track aside the camera for a moment. I pick up, he hits this drag position. As he's turning the corner, my hand comes up to hit the drag on the outside of his arm. He's trying to pull me down the mat. As he steps up through with this leg, pull me down. I post. I'm dragging. Let's turn a little bit. This leg now steps over the top. Again, slowly. This position here. Pick up, he hits the drag, I release, hit my own drag, post, step over the top. We do that with 50. Okay. Right here, so here, pick up, here, pick up. Right over the top. That's how easy that is. That. It's only easy if you got that in your vocabulary and you drill it many, many times, because you got to keep in mind, we're going to throw all this material at you, and just you watching it, it's not enough. You got to get out there and actively do it, and then put together the sequences so they do feel like the combinations. So there you got your high singles, you get your high single counters, and then you've got high single recounters. We're going to take a look at working from the over-under position, the pummeling position. This is commonly used in Greco-Roman wrestling, which is that entire system is working on takedowns that only can utilize the upper body. Again, this is a section that could go on and on and on. There's a lot of very useful things in here. What I'm going to give you is the root way to do pummeling properly, because for the most part, what I see are people doing it improperly, and we're going to give you a good handful of techniques to make sure that you can get some drops out of this. Some of these will be upper body takedowns, but a lot of them will also use the legs. So we're going to make sure you're encompassing your whole body whenever you're attacking someone. Now, the over-under position is nothing more than me having, whenever he sticks an underhook in, which is his right arm, I overhook it at the elbow. He is hooking me right at the scapula. He doesn't reach any deeper, because if he does, he's giving me a whizzer position. So it's right at the scapula, and I'm hooking in this drag position. And then we duplicate these positions on the other side. I'm on the scapula, and he's on the tricep. Okay, so far we're on the same page. We see people doing this. And pummeling is where you see oftenly people trying to get to a front body lock. And to do this, you'll see, since my hands are in the back, you'll see people trying to snake through and they get to this position. Where the drill portion comes in is I'm trying to snake through. I'll be snaking through with my left. He will block it by snaking through with his opposite arm, which forces us to change this position to the other side. So we have this is pummeling, back and forth, sitting in this position. We're doing this nice and relaxed. Now, just pay attention to the arms for a moment in case you've never done the pummeling. You'll see the snaking position here. One thing that will help you while you're doing it is whenever you're turning, watch, whenever it's my underhook arm to bring it out, you actually get a little bit of a lift. This gives you a little bit more room to come in. We're doing this at a nice little contemplative pace right here. You would actually have a little bit more, do something you call gorilla thumping, where your chest are actually hitting a little bit. Can you do a couple of those? So you see, it's a little bit more combative. Now, so far, that's correct. But this is what we see everyone doing. But you notice what our feet were doing? Not a damn thing. That's the problem. Whatever side is your overhook side, this is where it all comes into play. Most people stay equal right here when they're working this sort of thing. This is wrong. By keeping your weight equal right here, I have no weight down on his legs. I'm pretty much leaning into him. I can be hanging onto his arms tight. But if you're any fan of NHB or Pride, there's nothing to stop his knees from coming straight into the body. I can be hanging on as tight as I want. Can you hit me with a knee? Yeah. Can you bring this knee to my face? Yep. Yeah, you can. The difference is, whatever is your overhook side, in this case is my left and his left, that foot is forward. So overhook foot is always forward, and you don't weight into your opponent. You hang on and you root them down. Can you throw a knee into me? No. Can you throw into my face? No. No. You've got all the weight downward. So you could do the same pummeling drill. The difference is when you're pummeling, your feet will switch to the proper underhook, step forward accordingly. Now, it seems like a small point, but taking a knee is no small attack. These things can drop you immediately. So you want to work your pummeling, probably as a nice warm-up during practically every workout, getting good hand position and making sure that you're working the footwork properly, and you can really take advantage of people who don't have good footwork on their over-under. Now, we're going to start talking about some takedown attacks from this position. First, we're going to hit the body chancery and trip. One of the easiest ones to hit. I've got my overhook hand in position, underhook hand in position. We're already good to go. These hands can stay in position. So basically, I'm just doing a right back heel trip. The back of my right heel goes to the back of his right heel from the outside. We would just drive through. We could pull, drive the body. I'm just going to step forward in position without dropping you right now. Be here to here. That's all of it. You can imagine how we would hit the mat. Same thing. Step through to here. And we'll go down relatively easy. Ready, sir? Mm-hmm. Here. All the way down. There's the motion. That's all there is to that. That's really once you see it, you go, yeah, okay, I got that, I understand it. But you want to drill it, make sure that you can do this time and time again. Another one you can hit is a flying mare. Again, I'm in proper foot position. A flying mare is where I would drop out my underhook hand. This hand will drop out and swing across. So from here, swing it across. Whenever I drop it out and swing it across, I'll be getting a 2-on-1 on his underhook arm. I will also be turning my back to face him, and dropping onto my knees. Now it's important whenever I drop to my knees, stay where you are, I don't drop right in front of him. I'm attempting to break the plane of glass with my heels, or come as close to breaking the plane of glass as I can while hanging onto his arm. While I'm hanging on the arm, I would bend, put my forehead on the mat. Now this isn't a spinning arm throw. There are versions of that. We could show you right now. It's just flying mirror. This can be a little bit higher percentage for you, and that's why it's the one we emphasize right now. So underhook arm comes out. We come to here. You're going to really hop and back step into position, drop down low, and bend. So I'm not taking you down yet. It's going to be more of this position to drop. So we're here. I'm going to go over with you this time. You ready, sir?
Yeah.
We're here. That's flying mirror position, dropping down all the way underneath. Now, arm throws are great and wonderful. There is a lot of material we can run through on that. I think the flying mirror is more of an equalizer because arm throws sometimes depend on you fighting within your same weight class or someone who's a little bit less talented than you. The flying mirror is allowing you to put all your body weight through one limb and move someone who has some size on you. So again, we're here, drop the underhook arm out to here. That motion. You'd be doing this ballistically and dynamically while you turn and drop it into them. Now once you turn and drop, all the way to the knees, bend, forehead to the mat. One more time, sir. You ready? Here. You got the position. Now, you can hook up the flying mare arm position 2-on-1 and hit that same back trip we did before from the back trip body chancery. So we're up. I drop this arm out to position where before I did the back trip, by leaving this arm in the body, hooking the back trip, here, this position, step in. The exact same technique, except we're dropping the underhook arm out for the 2-on-1. Back to the camera. So we're here, here, to here, bend at the waist to bring them down. One more time, even though this is pretty much a no-brainer. Here, here, bend at the waist to bring them down the mat. Of course, in all these, you would blanket. Blanket means just going down, covering whatever is your best top body position you can get, whether it's top body hold, cross body, top saddle, mounted position, whatever you can get. Now, sometimes you're going to need, what's preventing you from getting to a guy's back is this underhook. You're trying to turn the corner, this is in your way. What's going to prevent you on this side, this is overhook. These things are in the way. You need a way to start moving an arm out. Kind of tough in this over-under position, but one way to start this is to learn how to get wrist control. You can only get wrist control on your overhook side. So to gain wrist control, I would slide my hand all the way back to his underhook, get his wrist. Now, I'm not going to take his arm away just by using, look at this, look how strong my triceps are, and I move him out of the way. Won't happen, because if I get to here, even though I got some weight on him, not letting me have it. So what you will do is you slide back, put your arm into position, and then you point this shoulder to the mat, take your whole torso down. That will peel the arm off. So we're here, you move it around, hook, and turn. Now once you get it down, it's important not to leave a bend in your arm, because at that point, then you're back to just using arm musculature. I would straighten my arm and think about keeping my body weight pushing down through his arm. This gives me better control. Here, he's got a lot more winging in it, and he can start possibly pulling out. He's still got some winging in it, but this, with his arm extended, makes it harder for him to fight. So again, this is not a specific takedown. We're just learning how to get wrist control. So we're here. Notice it's using the entire body to make this work. Now, from this wrist control, we're going to go to an underarm sneak position. We've got this wrist control, and underarm sneak is once we've got this, I want to get to his back, so I want to get my head through. He's not going to let me just have it, so once I have wrist control, I'm going to wing his arm high. If I have it here and I wing high, this is going to stop. So that's why we have this in a straight down relationship. So from here, whenever I wing it high, I can put my head in, and again, I want good posture. I'm not just going to stay with my head down and squat through. I've got to put my head in and arch and look to the sky to take his back. So we're here, swing, take my head through, and gain the go behind. This is called an underarm sneak. We'll do that again. Wrist control, swing, head, look to the sky, turn the corner. Again, so here. Turn the corner. Now, we've hit the underarm snake. We can also use that to set up fireman's carries, which you've already used to block up someone's double underhooks. And again, a fireman's carry has to be with this arm in this relationship, this hand through. So we know from previous demonstration. You can use the wrist control there and the underarm snake. Get wrist control, arm snake, bang both knees, get position, back into the fireman's carry. You've already seen how to do the fireman's carry. We're using what we just learned with the wrist control and underarm snake to be able to facilitate it from this position. So it's again, wrist control, down, underarm snake, drop to the mat. You can keep wrist control on this or slide up to a tricep control. I did tricep control in the last demo. We'll keep it here on the wrist, up and over the top. So wrist control, underarm snake, and right into your fireman's carry. There is also a really nice takedown available to you from this over-under position called a lateral drop. There's many different drops, but this one is particularly easy to hit. We're in proper over-under position. I will be throwing him to my overhook side. If I'm throwing him to my underhook side, he'll be able to post out with his hand, stop and start taking his hips around away from me, facing and possibly gaining back control or back position. So this is all predicated on footwork. What I will do is my overhook side leg, which in this case is my left leg, is I'm going to step out deep at a 45-degree angle. My underhook side leg, my right leg is going to step deep between his legs to break the plane of glass. But while I'm stepping deep, doing this at the same time, is as I'm sliding home. I'll be stepping out, sliding under his body in this manner. So, we're not going to just hang on, give me modulation here. So I'm here, we got this position. That's the leg position whenever you drop. Or you're just controlling my descent right now, so we're holding. That's the leg position. Right now, once you've done that, when you fall, you're turning to look towards your outside arm. You're doing all that, you got control of his upper body, this will whip him over to the side. Let me do the fall one more time, and we'll take a look at the whole thing together. Drop, and turn. So you notice I'm just not dropping facing him this direction. If I drop straight down, I basically pull this man on top of me. Ready to take a ride?
Yeah, when I fall, just let me go.
Yes, sir. Here. Here. That's your lateral drop. You good?
Okay.
So you slide in and under. You good for one more?
Sure.
All right. He's a good man. So here, step through, take the slide and turn. I'm arching to let him go. Because he would retain, so you can get a blanket ride to your submissions. That's sweet. Let's take a look at another one that he won't like. You've got a scissors leg trip. It has become a staple of pro wrestling. When I say pro, I mean show wrestling, the entertainment stuff. But it's based upon a real move. And it usually works from the over-under position. It's similar to some of the scissors footwork we just did with a lateral drop. What we're going to do here, those maneuvers to our underhook side, in this case my right. So I'm stepping off. Let's do outside the camera for a moment. So we're here, step off the position. So you see I'm trying to get off to face into his hips on my underhook side. So we're here, turn. Now once I've done that, let's control descent again. I'm going to drop on my outside leg, in this case my left leg, dropping down. I want to catch his ankle behind my knee. And I want to use the back of my knee, my backside knee, into the back of his knee. I'm going to have to do this drop slowly so we don't injure this man. But it all has to do with the footwork. We're going to be here, I'm not dropping you yet. Turn, I drop. Whenever I drop, I want to make sure this is in position. This is how you know you're falling in the right position. Whenever you're falling right on top of the feet, and his ankle is caught behind the V, and you would hit in here and roll through. We're going to do this as kindly as we can. We start, we turn the corner. There's the roll. You can continue rolling up the body, start seeking submissions and toe holds, or you can just use it as a drop in and of itself. You have to one more of those? Sure. So again, I got to move to the underhook side, drop down, and my underhook outside of my overhook leg, catch it behind my knee, use this knee, the back of his knee, so I move. And notice when I'm doing this, I've released his body. So I turn, as soon as the drop happens, I let go of him. So we'll turn to the back of the camera one time. Here, to here. Lots of other scissors you see where people are hopping up. I'm going to take you down with this. Getting these kind of hopping up and back sweeps and all this. Nonsense. You don't need that. This is the only one that's really going to work because it is attacking the legs. It's attacking his foundation. Now, we take a look also from the over-under. We can hit hip lock throws from here. What I'm going to basically do is I'm going to take my underhook side hip and cross over his body, turn my hip into him, up, and over for a throw. So the back step footwork, stepping the underhook side foot over to a heel-toe relationship right here, and then turning and pivoting. So underhook, heel, to overhook side toe, and turn, bend at the waist. Do this with control. So we're here, step, turn to the mat. Again, you can follow them all the way down for a blanket ride. And again, so much humidity in here, our shoes are gripping the mat. So we're here, stop, spin, and over. Now, you can also hit the same hip lock, but with the headlock throw position, where I actually sneak the underhook arm out and just hook the head. Everything else will remain the same manner of footwork, turning up and over, and it still has this added benefit of controlling this arm. So, exact same dynamics, except this arm goes from here to here. Heel toe, turn, up and over. Now, again, we gave you the main thing to pull out of this particular portion is the proper way to do the over-under. Plenty of takedowns to work with there, but make sure that over-under is really rooted firmly in your head because so many people are doing this incorrectly. Thanks for taking those drops there. Okay. All right, we're going to take a look at ways to counter out the hip lock and the side headlock shows what we talked about in the pummeling section. And really, pummeling defense is basically being good at the over-under drill, finding who can beat to the body lock first. And also make sure you're in control of your footwork and your base. But once you're hooked up in a hip lock throw, the side headlock throw, things feel pretty dire because indeed they are. We're going to make sure you got some answers. So we're here. Corey hooks up his hip lock throw. So you turn, he's coming through. What I've got to do to prevent myself from going, again, as quickly as possible, I've got to take the foot away from the side of being thrown. I've got to overhook and just grapevine. I've got to weave right here to stop up the momentum. So as soon as I feel that turn come in, hook and weave to stop the motion. That's it. That's all there is to it. It's hard because the way the arms are caught up in this particular position with this over-under whenever he turns, this arm's caught. I've got no place to go, and this arm can't really wing out and shuck the head enough, so it's going to be up to your legs to put that particular beat in. I would stay, you can weave all the way with the instep behind the shin, behind his calf if you want to. You can find the hook is enough. This works just as well. Whatever you can get. At that point, it's catch as catch can. Let's turn it this direction, and one more time, he turns, hook, you stop up the technique. The other thing you can do now is start talking about beating these side headlock throws. We're here. He's hooking at the head. He's turning the corner. He can have the arm included, or you can have the arm beat out. Whenever you turn the corner, you've got to drop down
to one or both knees. And what you're going to do with this case is whenever I drop down, I'm looking ballistically, trying to extract my arm and just underhooking the near thigh and taking a pickup. Now, there's a lot of people who, let's turn the corner right here, who say when the headlock throw is coming on, they immediately want to start making the move happen right here. That's if the guy was holding you in a static position. That is a beat for a standard headlock. So if he was just standing there holding me going, hey, I got you in a move, then maybe I can pick him up and go. We're talking about he's throwing me. I don't have time to do this and reach over. So as he's throwing me, I've got to lower my base and then hook. So let's go ahead and take the turn. Start to throw. I've got to go to here and then take the pickup. If I try and take the pickup while keeping my hips high, he will throw me even if I get my hand in position. Now with that side headlock throw, another thing I've got to do, where we grapevine on this side before, the same side my head is on, I can forward trip him and just take this leg and hook in the front of his thigh, but here I'm not using it as a stop up. I'm using it to try and reap his leg back, lock it back so we can both go down with myself on top. We'll do this slow. So he's doing the throw, I hook, and we drive with me going down on top. We'll go from the wind up. So over here, he turns to do the throw. So I can hook my heel in front of his knee. That felt good. I smacked it hard. Okay. Let's take a look at this, where the foot placement is. I'm not here. He can knee out of this and still take me down. I've got to hook above the knee. He's got to hook high. So he turns the corner, he hooks, and down. Another thing we can do is hit a Navy ride from standing. Be some Navy rides to come as well. He's doing this side headlock throw. And again, I've got to drop my base to work anything from here, or else I will go over. I'll hit a half semi-squat position to right here. Instead of hooking this leg, I'm going to come over the top and underhook the far leg. So this is the position, and then up and over. So the only difference is this first one was a near leg hook. A Navy ride is anything where you're reaching through and in between for this position. You can Navy ride on the back. We'll be doing that later. But here, hook of the Navy to drop them. I'll have this other hand and a seat belt to assist in the lift. So we're here, squat, hook. I'm using the head hooking to bring them back. Let's go from here. So you're hooking, turn to your side headlock, and into position. Let's do it one more time right over here. He's here, he hooks, squat, turns, and up into position. Okay, what we had there is we blocked out the hip lock throw where your arms are pretty much trapped up, and the side headlock throw where your arms are not included, they're whipping you over the top. We've done the grapevines, your Navy rides, and you got your forward trips and your near knee pickups. Now, for takedowns, we've already done the high single. Let's take a look at a low single. A low single is a really high percentage takedown. You hardly see it used at all, except by Kazushi Sakuraba is wonderful about pursuing these things, whether he's starting the standing position or down on his knees. I'm going to show you two variations to hook it up and tell you which one I prefer. There are some coaches who think the head to the outside is fine. I'm going to show you why I don't think it's that wise for NHB. First, to hook up the single, remember we did in the high, we hooked with the inside hand first so we don't have the whizzer hook up. It would be the same thing when we're working for the leg. Basically what we're doing is we're cupping behind the heel. So you're going to bang both knees to the mat, hit with the inside hand first, bring the rear hand around. Now you can hook up in the same hand position you had for the high single. Not as necessary at this point. You can just cup with both hands on the heel. I find out of habit because of this, I still use this down here. But I can see no problem with you working with your hands just cupped on the heel. You can work with the head to the outside on this takedown. My only problem with this is if he just takes a post back and kneels down, he's got an easier way to base on my head and stop me up right here. Whereas whenever he's basing on my head, he's got this posted back, my drive is taken away from me to some degree. Head to the inside, whenever he's posting in, even if he puts this knee down, you're still able to get a pretty good drive against the inside of his shin and still drop him down. Now, again, outside or inside, I just discussed the outside. I mainly want to show you how to do this to the inside. I'm going to show you how to protect your face from knees as you're going down for this single, because it's going to be a ballistic drop. So when standing up, again, we got to maybe touch him before we go down. Whenever we drop, since we know we could be leaning into a knee that's coming up to kill our face, my outside hand, which is, remember, my inside hand is reaching, the outside hand acts as a gate. I'm coming down, palm down, and so I'm smacking at the knee as I go down, and then this will gate around as my head goes to the inside. Seldom, you're usually going fast enough, seldom will this knee be coming up, but if it is, this little gating motion is all that's needed to really guide this your face away from this knee. Rather than you just dropping down this way and possibly eating it, you'll be dropping down, smacking off this knee, and hooking your hands together. So we're here. Tell you what, you go ahead and drop down and take this. Your great high single. Take a look at that. He's got it set. Drop a few more times. Head to the inside. See how he's gating on the way down. This time, drop it and bring it back. There's the drop. And to drop him, drive him back, what he's doing, wait, just freeze it down there, please. To stop me, he's not pulling my heel, he's just stopping that heel from moving, locking in position and driving with his shoulder at mid or high shin length, and that's what brings me back. Shove. That's it. Take a look at this. Even if I post back with my rear foot, keep driving, it still will bring you down. Now, outside, fine, but inside is really the way I want you to have this thing down. What you can do also, go ahead, drive it in. If he starts turning on you a little bit here, this can be a way for him to stop it. He can turn the corner and take this from behind. He'll turn the corner and leave this hand in place. This hand will reach out, palm. Let's have you go against the knee, far knee right here. He's got the palm against the knee. And all he's got to do from here is still keep these same things blocked, hit me with his shoulder, and this hand is blocking my knee from taking a step forward. So again, this is used where he's driving. I back step to stop his momentum. He reaches between the legs, palm to the knee, hits me with the shoulder. This hand's not trying to push my leg out, it's stopping me from taking a step. Let's do it 2 more times slow, and we'll hit it. So we're here. Turn, reaches for the knee. Again. There you go. Go, sir. And there you have it. High single, low single, real high percentage takedown. Very unexpected. So we can be playing from here. It's really hard to see these things coming in sometimes. They can be taken off a slip. They'd be taken off of, for example, if Corey shot a double and I just ran back, he could continue on by reaching for this low single. You want to be really good about just following these things and snagging them up and learning to turn the corner and hit this knee. This guy is just trying to hide his face from me the entire time. I really, really suggest keeping this high on your list for your vocabulary of takedowns. We're going to take a look at how to counter the low single takedown. Again, we showed you just a handful of ways to do the low single. There's many ways. We're giving you just one way to counter the low single right now. There are lots of ways, but this is going to be a bread and butter way. I think this is the way that this would be the first one I would teach anyone, and it's the one that you're probably going to pull out 90% of the time. So whenever he shoots his low single, as I said before, I've got to turn my base into him. So whatever he is driving, I've at least got all this base on the floor, and I got to step my leg out far enough. If he were to reach for this far knee, go ahead. Woohoo! Nothing there. All right. So since I've already turned the corner here, we're not going to stay static like this. We're just going to show you where the foot position is. So you're going to turn, base far away, so he can't reach with the far arm block of the knee. Then I'm going to continue to back step over him. Let's turn this a little bit. continue with the momentum, the back step here, and sit down on top of him. Then I can go to work with any series of rips I want. Here I'm just getting a figure 4 in his arm. I can overhook it, I can underhook it, I can hit a bar arm, I can reach back and just grab a crotch lift and turn him over. So really just looking for whatever handle is available at the time. Sometimes you're just playing an open game for submission only. You're going to find this position and to hit that single. I just want to pull him straight into me or across without clearing this arm because this will stop. There's a post right in my body. So I'm actually sweeping that across and then hitting the drag. So with either a single or a double, the key is to clear his hand across the body, and the ultimate goal is to get the go behind. It's not just enough to go, okay, I moved him to the side. You're pulling him 45 and across, stepping behind him, reaching around his seat belt, and using your own body to trap his arm between you. Let's do it at the back of the camera for a moment. The double drag, pull. This is the position we're looking for. So we'll stay on our right arm. Let's do a double drag to a go behind. Go ahead. That's the position. Back. Set up for a double drag. Right at the go behind. Now, we've done this, we covered this already in the earlier portion with the high single position. We got the falling arm drag and knee, but it can be hit without having to do, we were using this against the, as we said, the high single. This can be hit from doing a single drag or a double drag. You're going to step between his feet. This is old territory for us now. I'm going to step between his feet. My right hand's doing the drag. Right foot steps through. I turn into him, overhook the knee, and drop into my right haunch and turn to bring him down. We've done this before. So hit it one more time. So you hit the drag, step through, and turn. That's a falling drag. We've done that as a counter for the high single, but it can be done when you're playing just on your drag offense games. Now, we can also hit an arm drag with a trip. It can be single or double. Really, if you're saying when should I use which one? When they're available. If a single's available, you've got it. If double's available, you've got it. Just whatever you can get at the time is fine. At this point, a drag is a drag. It's just terminology. Keeps you on the same page because sometimes a drag might be a single drag into an ankle. Here, we're going to drag into a trip. This drag will be 45 and across. I'm dragging with my right hand. The right arch of my foot will kick against the inside of his ankle. We're going to do this very nicely. So I'd be pulling here and kicking here. So at the same time I'm dragging him down, I would be ballistically kicking that foot hard to bring it up. It's pretty painful against his ankle, so I'm just going to touch it, and he'll go with the motion. You'll get the idea. We'll do it this nice and slow. So here's my drag here, kick up, and bring him down to the mat. So this is a standard drag. There's a double drag with the trip or the single drag with the trip. That's all there is to it. That footwork right there by putting the drag in. This wouldn't work. If I just hang onto his arm and run and kick his ankle, it hurts and I made him mad. I've got to make sure the drag is occurring at the same time. A variation out of this is an arm drag with an inside back heel. Where here we just did the step. Here we're going to step this heel all the way behind. So the footwork before was arch the foot to his ankle here. Here is heel to heel. Just like this. Instead of pulling him 45 and across, we're driving into him. We use the drag to clear an arm out of the way and hit to make him go to the mat. Do this back to the camera. Drag, inside back heel, and down. I can follow him down and blanket him, or I can stay up. One more time in that position. Arm drag, inside back heel. Covered ways to drag. There's lots of ways to use these. Don't think of these as just something, a little frosting along the way. You're going to be surprised how often you're playing the game in this position. How often drags are come into play. Be important to you. Drag offense is important, but your defense is just as important. So if he sets me up with an arm drag, one of the counters is just called a crossbody. I'll turn this way for a moment. So he's got my right arm, and he's dragging off to his right. What I will do is, whenever he's pulling me, instead of letting myself be pulled totally 45, I will go into him. So we'll turn this way a moment. I will bump him with my shoulders. That's one motion of it. So he pulls, get the bump. I would hit him more ballistically. Also, with the bumps going on, my right arm's being dragged, my right foot overhooks his knee. So he pulls this motion right here. We'll freeze it right here. Me hitting it with my body and me hooking here behind his knee, we would go to the mat because I'd be driving back towards his back. But we'll slowly do it here so we can see the footwork. Drag to here. One more time. Drag to here. And we'll try and do this nicely. We'll go down. He's got me. He drags. Hooks. We go down the mat. I released his foot on the way. I didn't want to keep his knee bound up. Can put some stress on the knee. Again, slowly he pulls, overhook, in, all the way down to the mat. Now, remember we looked at this variation of this technique before, where he did that falling arm drag. He steps in between the feet, grabs the knee, and he takes me to the mat. Well, we already looked at this. We were counting this out against the high single to make sure it's fresh in your memory in the drag section. When he drags me down, I need to post on my free hand and then try and take the trap foot and step it across his body. We'll do this attractive side of the camera. So he pulls and drops. Post, step it over. Do it again. Pull, post, and step the leg over. Do it one more time. We've done this before. He drags, he drops, he hits the falling arm drag, post, and step the leg over. We're both in this drag position at this time. So, there you got drags, single drags, double drags, falling drags, ways to use them. Drags are very, very vital to your game. Ways to counter these out. Still on our feet. We looked at over-under pummeling position. Look at here. We need to take a look at collar and elbow position. Some wrestling systems only work from a collar and elbow. You're playing in a vast scientific wrestling system where all these techniques come into your vocabulary. To make sure you're doing this correctly. Collar and elbow sometimes used as jacket wrestling. They are hanging on to the actual clothing here and the clothing here. Whenever you don't have that, it's just hand on the nape of the neck. You both have that, or right on the neck. Your other hand can be on top of the crook of the arm, or it can be scissored underneath, under the elbow. But if it's here, it's not passive, you're actually looping it. Because if you're not controlling this arm, he could be hitting me with this inside arm. So I need position, so I don't get popped, or I can be hanging here. Even if he started to pop here with this grip, we can stop it up. My preference is to come here on top. You'll see Corey's working the same way. Footwork in this position, it's not as much. You're probably going to keep these where before in the over-under is important. What's overhook leg was forward. Here in collar and elbow, you're probably not going to be here long. I don't suggest starting your match and going, hey, you ready to wrestle, Corey? Okay, this starts stalemating. It's just two guys saying who's stronger at that moment. These things happen. We're playing, and maybe I'm reaching to look. We popped it up. We're still going to pop it. It can be straight up whenever we're dropping, or it can be at an angle across his body, because we'll be dropping at the same time. I'm dropping down to the knee and popping. Usually I'll hit this one, throwing his arm laterally across his body. Head side hand comes off, and I'm looking to snag on the foot. And after that, I can use both hands and snag this thing up in a hug and drive into it. So we're here, I'm going to drop, throw that arm across, and start driving into that leg. We're here, I'm going to drop, bang the knee, and throw it. If I throw this too soon, I'm blocked by my own head. So I got to drop and time it and get both hands on here. So take this somewhat slow. Here, throw. And you notice that I'm doing that throw, how I drop a little bit, it gives me some base. If it's just me doing this way, that wants me to be static energy on this. When it hits, it's more of a ballistic strike to make these things happen. One more time with intention. Here, drop, and bring him down. Awesome! From this position, we get a snap down. A snap down is pretty much controlling the back of his head and throwing him down the mat. We're doing it from this position, though. This can only be done, some important theory. When the shoulders move past, we talked about this visible plane of glass between his heels. There's also one coming up from his knees. So from this position, glass plane is here. My shoulders come out and meet that plane. Any further, I start losing my base. When you're hanging on to each other, you get a little bit more leeway on it. But you can be able to start feeling when someone's overbalanced. All you have to do is keep your hands in position and shuck them straight down to the mat. Move your base out a little bit and pull them down. Now, if he's in good positions, this is what I get out of snap downs. Nothing. Bad positions, it's like magic for you. So really the key is where his shoulders are. Look at that. You can tell immediately, that's too far. That's too far. You may be able to tell it, because through the whole time you're doing collar and elbow, you should be checking each other. You're feeling, he's in, he's out. You should be pulling, juking, and jiving the entire time. Give you one more thing to use in this collar and elbow position, even though there's myriads of other things you can do. What we're going to do is take the head side hand, turn profile for a moment, and pull it out, hit a chin push to take him back. Now once I hit that chin push, the elbow control hands, they come in for a front crotch position. So it's push, because I've extended him, hit the front crotch. This is like using it as a switch. I'm pulling on his leg, you actually use it to pull me behind. Now some say you can just use the push and then walk behind him. No, Corey's a fighter. If I just try and do that without some kind of hook, he walks away from me. And we're still fighting in this game. So I've got to push and create a handle as I turn the corner. So it's here, push, inside crotch, pull to turn the corner. Can you walk away from that one?
I don't know.
Right here.
I think so.
Turn the corner and pick up the legs. So there you have it, the proper way to use collar and elbow. In many ways, you go on the offensive from there. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
We're going to take a look at now how to counter out some of the things we've done with our collar and elbow position. So we worked from here. We've had one thing to counter out is one, not allow yourself to get here. Easier said than done sometimes. Again, if you start your fight from this reference point, it's not a way to work. This should be something that just happens. If you're going to do a tie-up, you need to be able to take control of tie-ups and just not force these things to happen up front. I mean, how many times you've seen people just go, hey, here you go. Just happens
Too many times.
Too many times. Happens all the time. This isn't a fight. It's just people falling back in a stalemate position, and they think everything should work out from here. Now, this is something only if you know you can definitely control it. And this would be, if I have this position and Corey doesn't really have it, I've got both arms on, I'm in control of it. As soon as he locks it up, we're stalemated. Now, remember the heel pickups we've already worked with. We had the cross heel pickup and the near heel pickup. We're going to show you ways to counter these things out. You can be countered with either one of these heel pickups with a pancake. So, of course, controlling my head side leg, and he drops down to do these heel pickups. All I've got to do is continue to control his head side control his head. Whenever he reaches with his hand for the heel, all I've got to do really at this point is just reach for his elbow. And once I've hit that, I just hit him with the shoulder and pancake him over. Simple enough, isn't it just? So it doesn't matter if he's reaching for the cross heel pickup or the near heel pickup. Whenever he goes, I just got to control the shoulder and hit and pancake. And so do that again. Drops, control the head. And there's the elbow. Now that doesn't mean every time we show a counter, I don't want you to think, well, that nullifies everything you said before. We don't need these offenses. No, it's like you throw a jab, there's ways to stop a jab. Still, it's a fantastic tool. All these offensive weapons we're giving you
are fantastic in and of themselves. Just who gets there fastest, who's got the best chains, who's thinking on their feet, and who's got the best conditioning at that point too. We'll keep this together. Also, how you can stop these heel pickups. If you can even jam these things up before you get down to a cross, to a pancake position, you can just hit with an elbow shove. So whenever he goes down to reach, all I've got to do is shove on his elbows on my head control side. This will either take him all the way off base or stop his momentum on the reach. Let's take a look at this. So what's happening is when he goes down, I come to this portion of his elbow. I come off of the crook of the arm, come right in front of it on his forearm, and shove. Let's do one of those in real time. So it comes down to reach. Just a shove in the elbow takes the base away. So again, watch just the left hand only in this portion. As he goes down, this is all we have to do to stop it up. Even if he's got that snag, as we talk about, he's got to have my forehead on his delt. Just the shove takes me off of it. One more time in real. From here, he reaches, shove, takes it out. Remember, we also had the underarm sneak behind, where we came under and hit, moved our head, and come around. So, our counter for this, you can do this one to me, whenever I hit and come around, all he has to do is he's going to beat my momentum as I'm turning the corner. He's going to turn the corner a little bit quicker than me and take my back, be on top of me. So that's one of the keys to being quick on your feet all the time. So again, remember the sneak was for me to hit here, up, take the head drag, and run all the way to a go behind. And again, all he's doing, we'll turn this side. I'll be hitting the sneak on this side. He's just going to hit the go behind faster than me. You ready? Now he's on top of me. We'll do that slow to look at the footwork here. Hit the go behind. He runs it faster, all the way around to a rear body lock position. Now we had the snap down as well. Remember, we had the shoulders when they get out far enough when we hit the snap. What can happen is if I'm out far enough and he hits the snap, instead of just reaching for the mat, if I can leave, the important limb in this to stop a snap down, one is not letting get your shoulders pulled out, but is to leave my hand that's in the collar, in the elbow portion, in the equation. This hand can come out if I wanted it to, because it's the important one. When he's hitting a snap down, I pull on that elbow, that stops momentum and allows me to get back into the game. So if he's snapping me down, I pull on my elbow control side. So snap down, do the snap down. I'll be loose with this one. Snap down. That's what happens to you if you're not maintaining top control. That's why I was telling you this grip is not nearly as useful because, again, he can still pop into me. And if he has a snap down, let's go ahead. I've got no defense against it. So the hand should be on top. Snap down to here, and I can stay on my feet. So there you go. Proper collar and elbow position. Offenses from there, and some defenses from there. And again, remember, just because we show a defense doesn't mean it nullifies anything that came before it. Now there's another version of a high tie-up. You got the collar and elbow here. It's a great position. Really, the hand that's going to do the most damage here is the one that's controlling the head. So if I can get to a high tie-up, which is actually bringing both hands to the inside of the neck so I can work the head at the same time. Whenever I get to this position, I would often want to be putting his forehead on my upper sternum, pulling his head in deep, squeezing my elbows together, and backstepping to have optimum control of his head. So this position is fine. This is even better for control. So it looks very similar, to, as you see, to a Muay Thai tie-up, up the inside. The difference is forehead on my upper chest, pull, and back step. Now, to counter this out, he's doing this to me. What I need to do is lift an elbow with one hand, so working a slip with one hand, and I'll use the crook of the other arm to lift the elbow on the opposite side and reach around his back. So, go ahead, take control. So he's here. He takes control with it. Again, he takes control. So the first thing is going to be lift, the slip, and then the crook of the arm. So as he takes control, go ahead and bring me down. There, he's got good condition with it, in good position, take him down. We're going to be fighting by doing this double lift right here, by flaring his elbows out. That's what takes his power away. The power has to do with the head position, his forehead being on the sternum, and your elbows leaned in tight. But as soon as he starts lifting my elbows out, we're going back to a stalemate position and stopping this position up. Now we throw this in on top with the collar and elbow because there's a corollary of it's very close to move from this position right into this position, which is useful to you. Make sure you've got both the offensive way to hit it and the defensive way to hit it. We've talked about working these collar and elbow positions and arm drags. We talked a lot about using go-behinds, and when we have a go-behind, pretty obvious when you get around to the rear of your opponent, you can be able to hit a rear body lock, which means just pretty much gripping his waist. Looks like a rear bear hug. And the gripping position of your hands is going to be thumbs in tight to your fingers, and it's going to be palm to palm. You're not going to have your thumbs included. This is easy for someone in a street or dirtier fighting to reach up and just peel on the thumbs themselves. So we're going to hook this way. This grip, this bar grip, sometimes used in jiu-jitsu, useless for you. All he has to do is just push on the fist that's protruding. He's pushing that fist, he can rip that thing apart every time, no matter how hard I hang on. This guy's a lot fatter than you, and you can't get this palm-to-palm grip. Move to a finger hook or a fat man grip right here, and this will work. So whenever you're close to your body weight and size, it's going to be palm-to-palm. Fat man grip will be right here. So from the body lock position, we've got to start having some offensive motions from here. We've already worked a forward trip against a side headlock. We can work it from the body lock. Now my positioning on this body lock is we're not just standing up right here. I'm pulling him in tight, I'm squeezing my elbows together, and I'm using my head to try and shove him forward to some degree to take some base, because a lot of his defense will be predicated on the fact that he can take his hips out from me and lean into me. So my job is to keep his hips close to me as I can, because again, we know if we can control an opponent's hips, we're better able to control the man. So we're here, the forward trip. I'm going to take my right foot, in this case, it can be done on either side. My right foot will hook above his knee. If I hook below his knee, he's able to step out of this. So I've got to hook above his knee, and then we'll continue to drive him to the mat. So it's a hook and down the mat. Now I step the leg out at that point. You can step out. We're stepping out at this point so I don't get full body weight on Corey whenever we crash down the mat. So it's here. That feel good on that pizza we just had. So it's right here, hook, and drive him down the mat. That's all there is to a forward trip. What we can also do from this rear body lock position are some back trips. This is very common to see in jiu-jitsu. Got no problem with it. Going to go ahead and show it to you with proper technique. They give you some variations. We got a single heel back trip. So in this case, on my side of the camera is going to be the right foot. The arch of the right foot goes right behind the heel of his right foot. And all that's going to happen here is I keep my body lock position. I will drop off onto my right haunches and turn and look to the right, bringing him over the top. Now, you would keep your body lock in position the entire way. Try and take this slowly as possible at this point. So we're here, turn, and drop, and bring him down to the mat. When we get down there, I would keep the body lock, try and continue, and ride him and cover him when we get to the bottom. So again, the position will be here, kick in. I'll just leave you there for a moment. My hands will be clasped, and I would be sitting down, turning, and spinning with him, coming out on top. It's doing about 60%. Are you ready, sir? We're right here. And covering in position. That's a single back heel trip. You can do a double back heel trip, which is nothing more than I've got the body lock in, and I'm hopping this same foot in place. We have the arch against his heel. I can hit the other arch against his opposite heel. So whenever I drop, I'm going to have to make sure my spin is a little bit more ballistic, because I don't have the same amount of control, because this foot was acting as a base before. I could leave it out of position. Here I'm having to hop all the way behind his heels and then spin back. So this one's hard to hit, kind of slow. We'll go about 50. Ready? So I hop both arches up behind his heels, turn, and take the same kind of drop. Let me hop those feet in position one more time without dropping you. So it's here. Have both heels in position and drop. One more time, 50. Right here. And drop them down. You get a single back heel, double back heel. Let's look at a cross back heel trip. Say we're working in our body lock position. Let's say during the scramble, I don't have, my grip hasn't been solidified. He's been bucking his hips away, and I've not been able to make my hands meet. But if I have one arm, whichever arm is around with the greater portion of coverage, in this case my left, I've got a good seatbelt position on him. My trip really isn't going to work here because I can't get enough torque with it. It's going to be just my arm doing the work. What I'm going to do is a cross back heel. This is my left arm across the seatbelt. My left foot is the one that's going to make the switch. Essentially what's going to happen is I will bang my right knee to the mat. Since I have a left seatbelt in, my left heel comes behind his right heel. And what I will do is just continue to turn towards the mat, use the seatbelt to bring him over the extended leg. So I'm just going to drop into position here, from here to this position. So again, I'm making this all loose so we can see what's going on. I'm just going to drop into position one more time to here. This time I will keep a tighter version of the seatbelt, bring him over the top, and blanket about 50%. Ready, sir? There it is. That's all there is to it on that cross back heel. One more 50. Here we are. To bring him down. Now, you take good falls. A few more things we can do from this rear body lock position. We can also drop down and take a double ankle. So let's put this towards the camera. I'm fighting him here, and maybe I've tried, I've juked, and I've jived with some heel tripping. I'm a little bit worried about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to release the body lock momentarily, drop to both knees, and hook around both ankles. Once I have both ankles, I'm going to drive my head's on the right. I'll be driving my left shoulder through the back of his right leg. We'd be hooking here, and just driving through. Now this is a speed technique. You have to release and drop, make all this work quickly for yourself. So it's from the lock, release, bang both knees, hook in front of the ankles, bang your left shoulder through the back of the knee. So here we are in position, this, and drop down, and hit. Now I'm going to tell you, the preference for me is to try and hit these trips, but these are only being used, as I told you, the continuum. He's hiding some of these things up from you. And this is about the only thing left to you at that particular time. Now, we're still not done. You see here the rear body locks in this position. We can also take what's called a rear crotch lift. Now the rear crotch lift is nothing more than releasing one of your grips. In this case, I'm going to release the right. I'm going to leave the left hand to seatbelt position. Right arm will come up high in the crotch position. So let's raise your arms for a moment. We're here, going to release. Got one in the seatbelt, high in the crotch, and all I've got to do is lift with the right crook of my arm, arch, and look towards the sky. So it's here, release, lift, and it's a pretty healthy drop. If I continued on with my way to drop them down. For drill purposes, let the guy come to a quasi-handstand position. So we're here, release, underhook. That's the position here to here. You can hang on tight that seat belt and lift. And another one to right here. Variation of this rear crotch lift is a rear thigh lift, which I can do by releasing here instead of underhooking the crotch. I underhook closer to the back of his knee and get a variation of the same thing. So you've got rear crotch, which comes here, rear thigh comes closer to the back of the knee. One more time in the rear thigh, release, leave the seatbelt in, and back lift. We can also, at this point, do a cross crotch lift, which has to do with me releasing. I'm going to attack his right leg. I'm going to release my left seat belt, which has been in place for these other crotch lifts, and I'm actually going to bring it in front of his body. And then I'll rehook back behind. So the handwork again was here to here. Far hand over, comes in front of the leg. It's actually a simple technique, very powerful. So it's here. You ready to lose about 50%? It's a hard fall to take. And I'm lowering him down as we get to here. I'll hit this one slowly this time. Cross, over, and back lift, and through. 150, sir. Okay. Here we go. So it's across. Pick up. And down. Now, since we're lifting this guy off the mat, let's do one more. It's about lifting. It's just the lock and lift. We're in position. If we've got it locked up, and at some point I find just where we put our arches of our feet in the back of his heels, if you can get your hips all the way into his, what you will do is you will lift. You will keep your body lock in. You put your hips into him. You will arch and look to the sky. This will bring his feet off the mat. At that point, you can suplex, which is take him over the top. In my opinion, that's more of an advanced move. I don't want to cover that right now. At this point, if you just lift him off the mat, it's up to you whether you can windmill him with your knees, just take him off the side. The technique of the lock and lift is getting your hips below his and popping your hips through him while looking up. It'll look like this. We're from here, and that's your lift. Once you have the man off the mat, you're able to arch and turn to any side that you want to. But again, it's here, hips lower, arch, look through. And what we'll do one time here is we're going to lift. I'm going to look up to my right, we'll go down to the right side. So we're here, arch, look through. There we go. Last, certainly not least, we also have an ankle pickup with an inside trip, where we've done a double ankle where we release and bang to both knees to grab. This case, what we're going to do is we're going to release and just reach for it. I'm not going to bang a knee. I'm going to release with my right, leave a left seat belt in, grab in front of this ankle. I'll pick it up. He's on a one-legged base, so I'll take my left leg and step it in front of his to finish him off. So we're right here. I'm going to release, leave the seat belt in, pick up an ankle, and then step in front of the leg. One more time. So it's a release, pick up, step, there's your trip. So there you have it. We use the drags and the collar and elbow to try and get to a go behind. So once you get to the go behind, you're on his back, then you're in the rear body lock territory. Several ways to go on the offense from there. Work on those. We're going to take a look at how to counter all these rear body locks we've been doing. We gave you a huge vocabulary for the body locks. You're going to have a large one to start countering this thing out, because this is a common position both in standard submission wrestling, scientific wrestling, and even a lot of your jiu-jitsu players are going to hit this rear body lock. The first and most standard one is, Corey's going to hit this one. You don't mind doing a move against me, do you, Corey? It's just going to be a standing switch. Remember, switch is anything, we've already discussed this before for another position. Well, he will take his arm over the top of my same side arm, so right versus right, and he will underhook my right thigh and use this as a lever, almost like a rung in a ladder, to turn the corner. In this case, he'll be able to grab his own rear body lock on me. So I've got the body lock. He gets his hips away first to do a switch, because remember, for me to have proper offense on the guy, I've got to be able to control his body, so he's trying to take this away from me. So he gets his hips out, throws the arm over, hooks the leg, turns the corner. Now, the beautiful thing about switches, he's already behind. He would want to immediately start launching into one of his offensive techniques like we just did on the body lock stuff. But if he just stays there and stays stagnant with it, you notice this turns itself into a nice little drill, a little give and take. We got the exact same thing. So he's got the body lock on me. I do the same thing. Hips out, overhook, hip, turn, switch. Back to him. Here, hips out, and you're constantly turning with this drill. Now, obviously, you can go right and left, move around. Right now, we're trying to make sure you get the concept. It's going to be hips out, turn, overhook. It should be optimally with the back of your armpit against his upper arm. Hook with your palm to his inner thigh to turn the corner. Because you're going to find when you're turning, if you're trying to hook without your palm in, elbow will give too much. You do not have enough pull on it, so you turn around, it will use the biceps musculature to have to give you a little bit of a pull. Now there's a variation with the switch that we call the standing step behind switch. We hook to this body lock. This is going to be used in kind of specialized circumstances. Here I've been trying to reach for the switch, but he's been pretty good about hiding this leg on me to some degree. Doesn't matter what side I reach for. So what we do, we've discussed wing locks to some degree earlier. We're going to have a whole segment on them as well. I'm going to wing this arm, the side I'm attacking on right now, which is the right side. I've tried the switch. It's been hidden. Wing, then just overhooking at the elbow, keeping this tight. I'm going to attempt to step towards the wing side, which in this case I've overhooked in the right. I'm going to step right. If I can get behind him, that's all the better. Turn this in weird position for a moment. I'm going to take my left hand and actually hit the switch on his hip. So instead of my palm going against an inner thigh, it's going to the outside of his right hip. So I step to here. This arm is now in position. So again, I sought the switch, missed. It's usually easy to find. You hook for both sides, come back to this position, start back stepping and get around the side of the hip. Now once I do this, to finish this off, I'm keeping this wing tight, and I'll be rolling towards this outside shoulder while blocking his hip with this hand. I would be sitting down while I'm doing this, and this is going to bring him over the top. We'll do this part nice and slow. We'll get into the setup position again. Miss the switch, come back into wing position, back step it into here, and you're going to get that arm out. Okay, and slow to bring it over the top. Now you saw him remove that arm. Tell him why, Corey.
I don't want to hurt myself.
Yeah. He will come down pretty much in a jeopardized position when we hit. So again, we're going to hit up, miss the standard switch, and block this up, back stepping. The best thing for a moment here to turn it. Back stepping enough to get this between our bodies. Once this is in between, if I can get the other leg in between us, this is all the better. It is possible to make it work from here, but during the scramble for the fight, I'm going to get to here and then take the wing. I'm going to take us down nice and slow. So scoot over a little bit right here to finish this out. This is a hard one to hit friendly in a match, but in a match, whenever they land, they're not going to lose an arm, so you can play this in a sporting aspect. But as far as drills go, you see how we're stepping this thing through nice and slowly. I recommend that's the way to go with it. Let's take a look at it one more time. Make sure we understand. Switches first. That's your go-to move. That's your jab. You're missing out on that. You're getting the cross of this move. So step, behind, go ahead and release, and we're down. Turn into him and keep that wing so he's got nothing to block with on that side. Now we're not through with switches. We've so far we just used them against him standing there with the rear body lock, and we assume that he's not started any of his offensive takedowns yet, like we covered in the previous unit. Well, here this happens. We'll let Corey hit this. There we already ran through the forward trip, where I stepped across. We hit the mat. Let me just do one of those for a refresher. We're here. We go all the way down the mat. Now, once someone has this forward trip leg in, if they swing this up above the thigh, chances are you are already going to hit the mat. You're not going to be able to switch while standing on your feet. But as that leg's thrown in, if you've got the speed or the presence of mind, what he can do is go ahead and slip this hand between here as a switch. And once we hit the mat, he'll be able to try and post and break his fall the best he can with his free hand. He will use this hand to switch and move off towards my right side. So we're here. We'll take it slow as we can. I hook, and he's already placed a switch. We hit the mat. There he goes. He uses that to switch his hand around. Let's take a look at that slowly again. We're here. I'm throwing in my forward trip. He has the presence of mind to block it out. Hit the mat. Switches to the best of his ability. Comes around. And try that one about 50. Same thing, we'll play in position, shoot for the jiving.
Use this the switch to move.
Yeah, that was 50.
That was 50?
Yeah, sure.
Was it faster? It doesn't matter. We're making these numbers up. Now we can also use this switch against the crossover trip. And the crossover trip was here, where I wasn't able to get a full body lock yet, so I only have a seat belt around. I collapsed to my right knee, put the heel in here. Now what would happen, let me drop you slowly here. Once we hit, take a look at where my arm is. My seat belt arm is right here. Now if he overhooks this, he's back to switch territory. Now go ahead and stick the arm in for switch and return the corner. So what you're seeing, a switch is a go-to move, whether they're standing or on the mat. Anytime you have someone's arms encircling your waist, and if you're able to reach behind and find a hook in the inner thigh, a switch is probably available to you. So please keep in mind, the ones I'm showing you right now are not the only options for a switch to happen. We're just trying to make sure that you are aware of how many different situations they can come up in. Let's take a look at it from that crossover trip again. We're right here, we're taking it slow. I only have the seat belt and my hop. We're going slow with it. We hit. He's not going to be able to hit the switch yet. So when we hit the mat, he immediately reaches to throw it in. Let's go back, have you lay back down for a moment. Take a look at something I do for safety in the drill. Watch my left arm for a moment. As he puts the switch in, he turns the corner. I limp my arm out, and I pull it out as he turns the corner. The reason I do this, take it real slow, if I leave my seatbelt in, like a lot of people want to do, they're trying to retain their man, slowly turn, go, keep going, easy, tap. What happens, he carries my arm with it, it either ends up being a lock against my elbow, against my shoulder. So for drilling purposes, and in the fight, anytime you feel a switch hit, a limp arm is nothing more than trying to wing your arm out of there, wing's the wrong word for it, is trying to whip your arm off of their abdomen as quickly as possible so you don't get caught up in the switching motion. Best case scenario, if your arm's left there, it's just going to get caught behind you, you'll be drugged to your back. But the worst case is some elbow or shoulder damage. So again, whenever they're doing a switch for drill purposes, start limping, limp arming out of there. Take a look at that crossover again. I'm going to do this in about a real 50? That's fine. What's 50? Okay, here we go. Crop over. Goes in. And back around. Okay, we'll do that one more time, please. Turn a little bit more this way. Same thing. Crossover back trip to switch. Back around. Excellent. Okay, we've had the switches. Remember, the switches, for the most part, were predicated upon the idea that you had your hips out and away from your opponent. Now, let's say he's been really good. He has sucked the hips in, which means he's getting ready to take a toss back to one of these forward trips, any back trip. He's going to pick you up, suplex, whatever. You need to start addressing a series of movements. That means whenever your hips are close enough for his offense is going to be easier on him, we need to go to work. Now, one way to do this is whenever he's got his body lock in, he's already sucked my hips in, is I can't stay standing upright because he's going to start flinging me around like a rag doll. If he was a bit larger than me, the flinging is going to be bad enough, but trust me, even at this weight disparity, he's still in control of this fight right now with my hips out here. If I've got him out here, I'm still in it. Back here, I'm getting ready to lead. Now, we're going to give you several options from this position with the hips back. One of the most basic ones is just to bend down. You're going to slap the mat because you want to bend at the waist. You're just not reaching for the mat. You need to physically slap at the mat to remind yourself to ballistically go down because you are in dire straits right now. You can't get here and go, man, let me see if I can fight him off of strength, because you start back lifting me, Corey. That's how quickly you're going to be gone. So as soon as you feel these hands come around, back lift, I need to start dropping my base low. And once I'm in this low position, one of the first things I can do, this isn't a submission yet, it's just a block, is to use one or both hands to grab the heel, the back of his heel of the leg that's in between my legs. And this is just a stop. So if he were to try a back lift, I've got a handle. Let alone I've dropped my base, I've got my weight leaning away from him, making this harder on his lumbar spine, and also this stop up on the leg prevents him from getting some good leverage to pick me up. So my hips are sucked in, I need to slap down,
find that leg that's in between, just grab the heel and stop. So he grabs, slap, grab the heel. Now it is possible from here, you see this common in jiu-jitsu, they're doing a heel pickup, which is they want to take the heel straight up and they're trying to sitting down to a knee bar. That might work in demos or against some poor fighters. Let's turn this to profile a little bit. I'm going to show you just for argument's sake what that would look like. You're not really picking up the heel, you're putting your butt back into the thigh while blocking the heel, which causes them to go down. At this point, they would have you go ahead and sit all the way down to a knee bar position. This is pretty easy to be. He has to put his foot right here in the butt, shove out and stop this thing. Now you can say I perhaps have stopped that motion up, but I guarantee you, whenever you start really scrambling on the mat, this block is about as far as you're going to get. If I start trying to sit into him, you can see what happens here is he starts struggling with the base. Watch what happens with my hands. I'm here, and I'm trying to fight and pull. My hands either leave, or they start sliding all the way up here to the calf or the back of the knee. There is no leverage for me to make this happen. So, if I just think about blocking on the heel, and not trying to pull or shove into him, I can maintain that block. So here, there's no struggle here. I'm just stopping. Even if he's pulling on me, I'm just thinking, nope, nope, you're not picking me up. That's good enough right there. If you do want a knee bar from this position, you can take a dive between knee bar. Some people call it a victory roll. What's going to happen at this point, I still would be thinking about bending and slapping at the mat. I'm doing all the work with my inside limbs. So since I'm attacking his right leg, I'm going to use my left leg is going to go back between his legs, my left arm is going back between his legs, and I'm rolling on my left shoulder. I'm not ever sure what's the best angle for this one, so right about here. Try to take it as slow as possible. As I'm swinging through with all the limbs, I can post on the mat with the right hand momentarily. I'm swinging through, bringing this leg high on his body. Once we get to here, I can figure four or simply cross the legs on top and trying to keep the relationship of his knee is pointing at my navel. I need to have my pelvis above his knee to work this combination. I would tombstone grip his legs, which tombstone is meaning just crossing the arms, trying to use retention with the crooks of both arms right here, and then tap. Take your hips through the knee. Now this knee bar, it's really attractive to a lot of people. They love to do it because it's got a nice dynamic move to it. And I've used it myself, and we'll probably continue to pull it out sometimes. For the most part, though, I like you to try and work from the standing position and try and work to strive to be on top. Because lots of these leg locks, when you're laying away from each other, you notice I have no weight on Corey. I am attacking one limb, but if he's able to slightly move his knee around, there's no weight on him, and then we're back into a scramble position. Well, that's probably better than where he was on my back, so that's fine. For the most part, if you can bring this fight down and be on top, and then go to work with your hooks, I think you're better off. But more details on that swing through a knee bar. So again, inside limb, I'm attacking the right. All the legs, the limbs that are close to the inside of his body, do the roll through. So left back, left leg back, left arm back, rolling on the left shoulder. I can post with this head if need be. So I'm rolling through, I'm overhooking on this behind his calf as we roll through. I'm going to give a few different rolls. I'm probably going to take 2 or 3 different rolls with this just so we can see how this comes out, and hopefully this will give an idea how this thing works. You ready, sir? Yeah. Over, tap. Here's one. Let's try this angle. And let's see him bending. Hitting the roll. Tap. Let's try one on head to head. Right here. Over back. Tap. Now, again, telling you, I'd rather have you on top whenever you hit the mat, and this is a great submission, but if he is able to counter it just a little bit, I'm caught on my back, he might turn around, he's already in a hands down position. If he's able to swing this leg back out and turn back into me, I have more work to do to try and get back up than he does. So if you hit the submission, try and make sure it's a sure thing, make sure that it's going to be cinched tight. Now, some of the others we had some pickups. We already addressed what to do. If you got your hips out, we addressed what to do. If you slap the mat, because they have your hips in, let's say they've already started getting a little bit airborne. Remember we had one here, we had the body lock, they dropped off and did the thigh lift for the pickup. He can block this out by grapevine. All he has to do is take this instep, hook it under this near knee. So whenever I try to move this thigh lift, he will counter his hips a little bit, try and hook back in here, to get up. This stops the motion up. Doesn't matter how strong you are at that point, whenever I underhook and go, at this point, I would be trying to lift his body weight, myself off the mat, which is an impossibility. So again, we'll take a look. Right here, he's just got to turn his hips a little bit and underhook. So we're here. That stops it up. And again. Got it. You see, he's already naturally pushing on my head. Starting to work against me. Now, he's also got a lock and lift. If he doesn't have a shot to turn around and hook behind my thigh, and I've given him no opportunity to canter around whenever picking him up, he can just grapevine immediately. He can take his feet and grapevine to the outside of the feet. He can be with one or both legs, and this is perfect whenever people are looking for suplexes or any kind of pickup. We can do it. So we pick up one or both legs, just put an outside grape on my leg. You cannot take this back arch any further once this has happened. Let's take a look at it again. Right there. Let's try for both legs if possible. It doesn't matter if it's one or two. Usually what you're going to find happen, it will stall. People don't get stubborn and go, I'm going to pick you up and you lock, and they stay in the static position. What usually happens, you'll pick up, you'll grapevine, you might be there a fraction of a second, and then you swing and reach for the mat, and you're back down to working these positions wherever your waist is low. You slap the mat, so it could be back to victory roll or blocking behind the ankle. So let me do a pickup, you block, slap the mat. There you go. That's all there was to it. So, grapevine, slap, and back down. Now, what you've also got, we talked about blocking the ankle from in between. See what we can also do if we bypass blocking this out. Let's say I bent down, I feel like this ankle is too far out, because let's do a profile for a moment. I'm trying. Did you hear me say I'm trying? I'm Italian. I'm trying to reach his right ankle. At this point, though, he stepped it back. And if I keep trying to reach for this like an idiot, he just has to crush into me and put me down on the mat. I'm only going to reach, I'm only going to reach if this is relatively close to me. But if it's back from me, go ahead and take it back, chances are this one's in position. But I can't take this ankle at this point, so I'm going to overhook on the leg and just do a pickup from here. So here's your choices again. This was the jab move. This is the first motion. I'm reaching for the heel. He hides it from me, run immediately to a leg pickup. So it's going to be heel block, the leg pickup. And again, I want you to understand the relationship. If this is close, this is the one I want. He hides it, we run immediately into this one. It is also possible if I'm trying to run for this. Go ahead, sir. Okay. You can sometimes just not pick up behind the knee with the overhook. You can actually reach behind the far ankle for your overhook. So it seems like it's nitpicky. I'm going to make sure you're aware of all the different handles that are available at this point. So you've got your A move in this position, block the heel. B move, block the knee. C move, block behind the heel. In slow-mo, we've got A, B, C, just like that. That's all there is to it. Now, what we're going to hit now is how to run into a whizzer from this position, and it can be tough to get. Remember, he's on your back. At this point, he's in control. He's winning the fight. Aren't you, Corey? Yeah, you're winning. He's on. Body lock. So we're back to me doing the slap down position. What I'm going to do in the slap down, when I get to here, I've tried some of these, and we played a footwork game. He keeps hiding these things out. So that's what we're trying to look for next. If I keep my weight low, make it hard for him to pick me up. And he knows a front trip won't work right now because I got base in the middle. If he tries a front trip, I'm right here. I'm blocked up. If he left a front trip in there like we'll see some jiu-jitsu guys do, we're right into shin locking and stopping this thing out. It's a free move on here. It's not on your outline. So what we're going to do while we're looking for the whizzer is I've got to get an arm. At this point, I'm close to the right side of his body. I'm going to take my left arm and try and get it past his head and overhook his arm. Let's take this head momentarily. So we're here, overhook. There's the whizzer. Remember, the whizzer position is when we're crooking the arm or all the way armpit to armpit, but it has got to be an overhook. That's whizzer position. So again, we missed ABC. We didn't feel like we could take a shot on the rolling knee bar, so we maneuver to one side, hook the overhook on the whizzer. Now once we've done that, it's time to take him down. And we will now take the free hand and block up this far elbow. It could be from the elbow across the triceps. So we've hooked the whizzer, we've gone to here. Now this isn't enough to take him down yet, because some people say, let's hit the whizzer and pull here. But what he can do with good base, he'll step around. Look at this. And I go, oh, now he still has a body lock on me. He's going to crush back into me and drop me back down to the mat. So I've hooked the whizzer. I blocked the far elbow. Let's release this for a moment for review. Now this whizzer hand will open up. Back of the hand is reaching for the thigh. So it's the back of the hand into the thigh, very much like a reverse switch position, right in here. Now I will pull the elbow, descend my arm, shoulder on top of his shoulder, and I'm lifting back with the thigh, which really just acting as a block. Once we've done that, here, that's the position that drops him and prevents him from taking the step around. So again, Orient whizzer position, I put the block, please for a moment, got to go to here. If it's this only, he will walk. Over here, I've got a shot to descend and block out the thigh. We'll look at that one from the top. So it's here. He's hiding all these motions from me. Hook the whizzer up here, into here. Okay, you got the whizzer, hip lock, the inside crotch pry. We're not done. We ran through a whole series of ways to break off body locks. I believe it was on the Submission Encyclopedia Volume 1. I would rather not repeat a lot of the material because we want all these things to relate. Well, they interlock at some point. Make sure you feel like you get your money's worth and not going, he's just repeating himself all the time. I do need to remind you of one technique called the resurrection. Sometimes people will body lock. Look, Corey, do this one. They don't just body lock on the waist. They're body locking high on the chest. So you could take your hips out, but it doesn't affect my grip at all. We're down here, take a look at my grip, and he takes his hips out. I'm already straining. On his upper chest, he takes his hips out. I'm going, I'm comfy, no problem. So the resurrection is him taking his chest out. Chips out? Yeah, it's okay. There's no oxygen here in Colorado. Take the chest out, fling the arms out wide, and take the head back. So you've got chest expansion. It's pretty much doing a hip drive just with the upper body. So right now, let's just take the resurrection and then just, step 2 or 3 steps away. Let's do this in profile first. So it's here first. There we go. There we go. There's the motion. He's taking this nice and slow. What you would probably doing with the bigger the opponent, the stronger the opponent, sometimes you're hitting this like 2 or 3 times a succession. I know you've done it, I've done it, where you just see this, people look like they're winging or doing some kind of furious pec deck fly or something like that. But it can end up working for you. So with the resurrection in mind, what you can do, if the resurrection does occur, people just don't do what I just did. Like he resurrected, he leaves, and they go, oh, that's good, you're a good fighter. Actually, wow, okay, I don't want to fight you anymore. They're going to run back in, because your back is still to them. Remember, before on the Submission Encyclopedia Volume 1, we showed you how to turn back into them properly with sheer turns. We don't need to recover that. Here, whenever he breaks away, my job is to keep trying to run him down, like real fighters would probably want to do. So what's going to happen is he's going to be able to hit a flying mare here. Whenever he does a resurrection, this time when I'm looking to regroup, he's sticking his arms underneath in that hook. So take a look at this. We break, he leaves, he's looking to here. Now he will drop to both knees and bring me over the top. That's perfect. He threw me down. I could keep talking to the camera. You're good. So right here, resurrection. I look to get back, but he's already covered the gap. And over the top. And again, resurrection. And down. Now, We can also take this resurrection move, and we're trying to rewrap and turn this into something called a power crawfish. There's a crawfish that's done from the knees on the mat. You can also hit the standing up position. We'll introduce it here. This is very similar to what we've just done. Here's here. Once we hit the resurrection, we got the handbrake, and I can bring my arms back in. I feel him making the reach on it. But for the flying mare to work, I've got to have my base. I'm going to have to be able to pop my hips back down and get them underneath him. Let's say I pop, he rewraps, and I feel him pulling me back. Good. Where I'm on my butt. Okay, there's no flying mare possible at this point. Even if whenever he rewrapped around, I got this position here. Look at this. I can't take him over the top. I'm in bad shape. So the flying mare was my first choice of this particular resurrection chain. So we break it. I get my hips out, and I'm overhooking. I feel myself starting to pull back. I do sit down on my butt. Well, what I'll do here, I will keep these things hooked up, and what I'm going to do is just back step towards the arm I'm controlling. I'm controlling his left arm, so I'm going to back step toward that side to bring myself out that side. We'll try this profile here. So we've done the resurrection. So we break. He's rewrapped in here. So I get dropped. He's dropped me on my butt, trying to keep a 2-on-1 the best I can. And then I'm going to back step and come out. You notice this power crawfish looks very similar to a underarm sneak that we've done earlier in countering out as a recountering the double leg unit. Again, you got to burst out. You're looking for the flying mare, but he's pulling back. Seek the 2-on-1. Sit on your butt. Stay there for a moment. At that point, it's just hanging on. You're going to fall down towards your right elbow at this point. If I'm hanging on to his left, back step it through, then use that shoulder to pull him over the top. So it was here, here, down into here. Let's try this from this position right here, and we'll do it up front. I've got this position, turn to here. Do it one time from head on. Again, I hook this one arm up. I'm dropping down into here. Now, for the rear body locks, last but not least on the counters, is a cross thigh pickup. This one is back to some of the old school of trying to get your hips out. But here's what happens if you get your hips out and you feel yourself starting to be jerked back in. If you get jerked all the way back in, we're running to our ABC moves. If while you're being jerked back in, you can make your hips go to one side of him using his momentum, then we'll be able to work with it. So for example, I get this far and pulls me back in. I'm trying to get my ass out to one side. So it's here, pull. Once it's out to one side, at that point, you have a pretty good shot at taking your leg and stepping behind another leg. If I'm directly in front of him, I see people all the time in so-called self-defense saying, step behind from here. Once he's got me sucked in and we're square, and he's trying to get this step in, impossible. He's got me ripped from the mat from the word go. So it's going to have to be down from pull, step to here. Look, I even went down for base. Once I've done this, then it's a cross leg pickup to put him down on the mat. I want you to keep in mind, I put this at the end of your rear body lock counters because that shows you the low value I place on it. It has its place in that specific scenario we just described. So one more time slowly, we'll do it from this side. He's pulling, I take my ass out, slap, step, turn it, and then from here, not the near leg, the cross leg to pick up, and then we would drop them all the way to the mat. So there you got several ways to drop from a rear body lock, and now you've got several ways to counter out that rear body lock. And you've got to train with them all, and keep in mind, it's not going to be this static. Corey, in our life, when we're fighting, have we ever felt anyone just do this and stay here? No. No. People are slinging around. It's like a pit bull getting hold of a toy, or your arm that's going to be shaking and wagging your body everywhere. You've got to train these with some pressure on. So train them with some isolation, nice and smoothly, and they get to where, hey, lock this tighter, move me around a little bit, and eventually you're going to be able to pull them out in actual sparring, match, self-defense context.